6 points clear of Luton Town, who occupy that third and final relegation berth at the moment, themselves 7 points clear of Burnley and Sheffield United. It's the usual goal service on a Saturday afternoon. It's a busy day of sport. We've already brought you a dramatic FA Cup quarter-final with Wolves 2, Coventry City 3, and then as soon as we're finished here, we're off to the Six Nations for Ireland against Scotland, where Ireland are hoping to clinch the title. And then after that, we're back to FA Cup action with Manchester City against Newcastle in the second FA Cup quarter-final, to be followed by further Six Nations coverage of France against England. But now it's all about the Premier League as we are underway here at Kenilworth Road, and Luton Town are playing in their orange shirts and navy shorts from left to right as we look, as that was a poor clearance by Sells, but he found Sangare just outside the centre circle. And now to Toffolo as we sit on this gantry, as we overhanging the dugouts here on the opposite side to the main stand, for what is a tight, congested, cramped playing scenario. And Nottingham Forest defending the end where their supporters are housed in the Oak Road stand just towards our right. Ball played forward by Williams and cleared up in the air by Mengi, flying header by Mpanzu. In fact, it was Kabore, wasn't it? So just looking at it there, they are actually playing with a flat back four, Luton.
It looks that way at the start here. It'd be interesting to see the role of Doughty. I think when they played Villa previously in those type of games, they missed out on his crossing ability, which will be so important today. So they'll be keen to get his position right, but it's unusual for them at the moment.
Ball played long by the goalkeeper Kaminski, lifted back by Sangare, headed away then by Mengi. Chong is after this bouncing ball, little flick inside, but Bolly was there. Bolly back in the side. He's missed the last 12 since he was a substitute against Manchester United at the end of December. So it's actually his first start for Nottingham Forest since before Christmas. As the ball to Mengi, seemed slow to react to that ball back into his own penalty area before he cleared it. And then Kabore stops the run of Williams. Out of play it goes for a throw. Half-time in the Six Nations. Wales-Italy, Molly Stevens.
Wales 0, Italy 11 at half-time. Wales 0 composure, 0 communication, and heading towards the wooden spoon. Italy comfortable and cruising towards their best finish in the Six Nations Championship. That's it in a nutshell. Wales 0, Italy 11.
That's on BBC One. It's also on Sports Extra. Whilst we were away with Molly there, that was half an opening for Nottingham Forest, wasn't it?
It really was. I think they'll be quite pleased with the start, although only a few minutes in here, but they're controlling the football, dominating it in Luton's half. I think it's important for Luton to start with more confidence and a bit more dynamism out there playing.
Burke from the back, out to this near side for Obeni. And there was a foul there on the midfielder Jordan Clark, so it'll be a free kick to Luton Town, which Barkley is going to take. Just knocks it back to Reece Burke, and then Burke edges his way forward, hits a right-footed ball, looking for the run of Morris, but Murillo has easily seen that out of play for a goal kick. In 14 Premier League home games, there's only been one team to have kept a clean sheet here as a visiting side. Tottenham, when they won 1-0.
Well, they've shown that they can score goals. There's no doubt about that quality, the threat of Morris. Of course they miss Adebayo and his physicality, but Morris is a real handful for any defence. Chong will get forward. Barkley, the way he marshals midfield, will be so important today to get him on the ball. But I think, as I say, for Forest to be quite keen to get hold of the ball, control possession, and see if they can take the sting out of Luton.
Well, Benny tidies it up. That's the voice of Mark Warburton, former Queen's Park Rangers, Brentford Rangers, Nottingham Forest manager, with us here on 5 Live as Morris heads the ball in field. Yates heads it away, and then Mpanzu in the midfield, being tracked by Sangare, back towards Burke. Wood breathing down his neck, gets it out to Obeni on this near side the right, and then Mpanzu, and then Luton Town play it back to Burke. 3.5 minutes played on BBC Radio 5 Live. Kaminski out of his penalty area, all in green, hits it away downfield. Toffolo will get the call from Matt Sells, and he picks it up, the Forest goalkeeper, all in yellow in front of that travelling support. They're quite a boisterous bunch, I can tell you, as the ball is out now with Williams on that far side the right. Wood's going to make the run, lays it back to Origi. Origi's onto it and making a diagonal run infield. Link up with Elanga. Origi continues his run, couldn't get the shot away. He was trapped by Mpanzu, who managed just to get an important block in. Morris now midway through the Luton half, turns, holds on to the ball, being tracked by Sangari, and back towards Reece Burke. And Mpanzu actually just feeling whether he's just picked up a little bit of a knock after that very important block challenge.
Great piece of defending there, Ian. A big concern for Rob. He's gone down now and he's stretching it with the problems they have at centre half. This is the last thing Rob Edwards needs, but clever interplay by the Forest forwards, and they showed their threat there.
Certainly was. Well, you mentioned the injuries. I mean, obviously Tom Lockyer for well-documented reasons, and he was an excellent guest in midweek on 5 Live with Mark Chapman on Wednesday night. But Nakamba, Potts, Osho, Adebayo, Lokonga, Bell, Addison, Brown, as we welcome the listeners to the BBC World Service, wherever you are in the world. Always a pleasure to have your company, as here we are in Bedfordshire, Kenilworth Road, the home of Luton Town. And we've been playing for just over 5 minutes. It's Luton Town 0, Nottingham Forest 0, a vital game for two sides down at the bottom of the table. And there was a slight concern for Mpanzu, who, as after a little bit of treatment, is able to return after a little bit of a delay, once he's got the all clear from referee Darren England. But it was a nice block challenge that had come in, but it was a nice little bit of interplay between Elanga. Elanga came into that central area, didn't he?
He does. He's posed a real threat, the cleverness of himself, and obviously in Gibbs White you've got the physicality of Wood as well, and Origi on the far side. So it's a nice combination. There's no doubt they have a good attacking threat. It's important for Forest to be strong at the back, control that midfield area.
MK Dons, who've won 5 of their last 6 at home in League 2, a leading Crew by a goal to nil. That's 5th against 4th in League 2. Notts County in that division, who've lost their last 5, have taken the lead at Accrington. Accrington 0, Notts County 1. So 2 early scorelines in League 2. 5 Live in the Premier League on this busy day of sporting action. So just get out of my seat, crane my head over our gantry position, and I can see Rob Edwards and Nuno Espirito down below, as Sangari stopped the run of Clark. Kabore will pass the ball back to his goalkeeper Kaminski, and then it goes out towards Doughty on that far side, the left. Infield to Barkley, had a little glance over his right shoulder just to check on the whereabouts of Yates before it actually reached his feet, and then Yates has pinned Barkley back, and he's now over on that far side, the left touch line, and Yates stuck to his task very, very well, and it will actually go out for a Luton throw. Let's get news then of that goal that we've just told you about with Andy Stevenson.
Yes, MK Dons home form excellent, as we've been saying, and they're ahead early here. Matt Dennis missed a glorious chance when played through just moments ago, but he's made amends. It's a scruffy goal. Dennis bundling the ball past Tom Booth. It's MK Dons 1, Crewe Alexandra 0.
We've got 2 featured games for you in League 2. We've got 2 for you in League 1. In League 1, 4th against Top, that's Peterborough Portsmouth, and then 2nd against 3rd, Derby against Bolton Wanderers. This is down at the bottom of the Premier League, and Luton Town now with O'Benny coming forward, top low backs pedal. There's 5 white shirts back there for Forest, and Murillo comes across, but because of the run of Clark, it ran away from him and out of play for a Luton throw. Murillo's been an impressive signing for Nottingham Forest. From the throw on this right hand side, Elanga back there. His clearance though to Mpanzu, right corner of the area, finds Morris with his back to goal. Shot comes in from Barkley, hit it first time, low left-footed, saved by Self.
Great interplay there, good hold-up play, centre forward play by Morris, and a good timing and movement by Barkley. Good strike and well saved.
Certainly was. Hibs are leading Livingston by a goal to nil in the Scottish Premiership, as Origi heads the ball on. There hasn't been a goalless draw between these two sides at Kenilworth Road in the league, and that's in 31 previous meetings. But there's been a penalty at Turf Moor. Mas Faruqi.
So much has been going on here. Ian, Vitinho went down under a Reguilon challenge in the Brentford area. Jakob Brun-Larsen is now stepping up to take the spot kick, which initially wasn't given on the field. The referee asked to go look at the pitch side monitor, and it has now been given, this penalty for Burnley, to give them the early lead here at Turf Moor over Brentford. Jakob Brun-Larsen runs up and he scores a good penalty inside the left-hand post. Mark Flecken couldn't get there, and Reguilon, not because of the challenge on Vitinho, but for dissent then to Darren Bond when that decision was reversed, and Burnley were given that penalty, was sent off. So Burnley lead here now against a 10-man Brentford team. Burnley 1, 10-man Brentford 0.
So Reguilon sent off. Burnley are 1-0 up. This is Barkley for Luton. Barkley shoots again, and this time it was a rising right-footed drive, just patted down by Sells. Wrexham 0, Tranmere 1 is the latest score in League Two, and Hibs now lead Livingston by 2 goals to 0. Good spell of pressure for the home team, Mark Warburton.
Really is, raising levels of intensity in the last 5 minutes and getting their reward. 2 good strikes on goal. Doughty out wide, getting possession. They need to get him on the ball, get the cross deliveries in for Morris, be a big part of this game.
So this is with Mengi at the back. Kaminsky plays it out from his feet out to Obeni on this near side, the right. Burnley would go to 17 points if it was to stay like that. They were 7 points adrift of Luton at the start of play. Mengi's crossfield ball cut out by Yates, picked up by Barkley, able to drive forward. Barkley passes the ball out to Doughty, but it was just too far ahead of Doughty. I mentioned one of those featured games in League Two. One of them involves the leaders Mansfield at Valley Parade. Shojo Starker.
Bradford 0, Mansfield 1. The league leaders ahead. Stephen Quinn floating in a free kick, and Bailey Cargill ghosting in at the far post, unmarked, heading into the net. Bradford 0, Mansfield 1.
And Wimbledon 0, Newport County 1 is the latest score, also in League Two. So with third place Wrexham behind, second place Stockport play on Monday at Crawley. Mansfield can take full advantage at the top of League Two with that scoreline in West Yorkshire. It remains 0-0 here at Kenilworth Road, 10 minutes played, but it's been a lively start so far.
No, it really has, and I think Rob will be quite pleased the way his team responded. Forest started off quite quickly, but they're starting to get hold of the football more. Barkley's having more of an influence here, and I think he can really dominate the football.
Barkley with a shot, whistles wide. He came forward, looked like he was just going to pass the ball, and then he shoots. That's 3 efforts he's had now.
3 good efforts in the last 2 minutes here, and he's getting forward into good areas, and Morris is being more and more influential as well. So a really good spell for Luton here right now.
Do you think that if you were the manager here of Nottingham Forest now, you'd try and put somebody on Barkley?
You've got to be aware. I think they want Yates initially. Yates does that job very well against some very good players. Yates and Ngari have a huge job to try and keep Barkley quiet, but right now he's really coming into this game, and there's no doubt about the influence he can have.
Well, he's had 2 that have been saved by Sells and 1 that's just flashed wide. Lincoln City are leading Bristol Rovers by a goal to 0 in League One. They're on a terrific run, Lincoln. They're unbeaten in 12 going into that game at Sincil Bank. Here, though, is Rhys Burke just outside the centre circle of his own half. Then Obeni plays the ball back. It's cleared long by Kaminsky. Clark chested off towards Morris. Plays it out now to Mpanzu getting forward. Mpanzu waits. Morris goes on the overlap. Passes the ball in field. Clark turns inside right channel of the penalty area with his back to goal. Drops to one knee. Elanga back there helping out. It's tight. And it's certainly competitive. Forest get the ball away, but it's only a partial clearance. Burke is forward. They're committing men forward here at Luton Town. Burke holds off the challenges of Elanga. Every outfield player is in the Forest half. Frenetic pace as well, isn't it?
It really is, but you mentioned it, you've got centre-half stepping in now, and they're playing 5 metres higher up the pitch. Really are positive in that final third area. Barkley, Yates is trying to calm him down, but again, Barkley's too good a player to be stopped right now.
Swindon 0, Doncaster Rovers 1 is the latest score from the county ground in League Two. 5 live in the World Service, 12.5 minutes played. Burnley are leading Brentford by a goal to 0. It remains 0-0 here at Kenilworth Road as Morris lays it off to Mpanzu. Reading are leading Cambridge by a goal to 0 as the ball from Barkley cut out by an outstretched leg of Origi. Gibbs-White plays it back. Bolly, short sleeves but wearing gloves. And there is a slight chill in the air actually here at Kenilworth Road today. Clouds are high, but it's overcast. It's just the odd little patch of blue sky, but not a great deal, as a free kick is awarded to Luton Town. So we can get an update in the Super League from Matt Newsom at Huddersfield.
Yeah, Huddersfield 0, Hull KR 4, an early breakthrough for the Robins. Joe Burgess off a scrum play, scoring out wide. The kick was missed by Jez Lytton, but it's the visitors in front. It's Huddersfield 0, Hull KR 4.
Kaminsky then to take the free kick for Luton Town. By the way, next week, just to mark your card, Wales-Finland on Thursday night will be live in Cardiff. Netherlands-Scotland on Friday, and England-Brazil on Saturday. All those 3 internationals will be covered live on BBC Radio 5 Live as Murillo marshals the ball safely away from Clark, who then pushed Murillo, a little bit of afters, and then Bolly needlessly gets involved, and the referee had that under control until Bolly got involved, and it started to flare back up again.
Absolutely futile, pointless from Bolly there, Ian. So everything was in order, no need to react at all.
So Darren England is now calling Murillo across. as there's been another goal at Valley Parade. Shojo Saka.
Bradford 0, Mansfield 2. Lucas Aikins slotting home a chaotic second goal. Stephen Quinn hit the post, saved on the line. Another shot came in, saved on the line again. Finally, Lucas Aikins slotting home. Bradford 0, Mansfield 2.
So now the referee's having a word with the original two who were involved and had dealt with it themselves. Just a little bit of pulling and pushing, and that was all it was, Clark and Murillo. And it's just a talking to from the referee after a little bit of nonsense, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. No need for that at all. But as I say, I think Luton needs to keep the tempo of this game nice and high. Last 5 minutes have been impressive, 7 minutes have been impressive, getting chances in the opposing third there. Important to maintain that intensity. And
Sells then with the goal kick, all in yellow away towards our right-hand side. Kabore heads it away. Sangari's challenged by 2 Luton players. Morris does well to get it out towards Chong on that far side. Doughty's just behind him on the halfway line, front of the main stand. Down the left touch line it goes. The bushy-haired Chong. Referee's played the advantage. Clark now picks it up. Diagonal ball forward, lay off by Morris. Williams was tucked in the right back to clear it away with the outside of his right boot. That'll be picked up by Burke on the halfway line on this near side, the right. O'Benny now down in front of us, tries to squeeze away from and in between 2 Forest players. Sangari comes to help out, and Langer now can run it away for Forest. Over the halfway line he comes, but every inch is being fiercely contested by the players. You're not getting much time on the ball this afternoon.
No, and fair play to Luton. They really are closing down with intensity. Keep mentioning that word, but they are being very strong, getting tight, denying space to Forest right now, and they're on top of him.
Here is Morris, shielded the ball away from Sangari, thought he was fouled, went to ground. Referee Darren England says not. Gibbs White now plays the ball forward, and Origi clips it goalwards, but didn't have the power. And an indication of that is that Kabore was running back, and Kabore just had time not to panic, let the ball settle inside his 6-yard area before he could clear. And now Morris gets a free kick for being held by Murillo.
But I think it's going to be a good physical battle, those two. Morris is strong, Murillo, you can see his presence there, really strong players, so it'll be an important part of this afternoon's battle for sure. But right now the crowd are on top. Down England, the referee is aware of their reaction, and so far Morris is winning the free kicks.
Grimsby have taken the lead at Priestfield in League 2. Gillingham 0, Grimsby Town 1 is the latest score. 0-0 at Kenilworth Road. Remember, Burnley are leading now, the 10 men of Brentford by 1-0. Free kick taken short, Barkley to Burke. Burke now to Clark. Challenge comes in from Sangari. Gibbs White closed down quickly by Barkley. And then Murillo hits that ball forward with his left boot. O'Benny should tie this one back towards Kaminski. Plays it back towards the Irish international. But Elanga continues to put him under pressure. The back pass towards Kaminski, he had to have good footwork just to nick it out of the way of the onrushing Chris Wood, and got away with it very well. As Doughty plays the ball forward over the head of Morris, and then it's cleared away. This is Yates sliding into the challenge towards Williams. Williams runs forward on that right-hand side and gets a free kick. Port Vale 0, Oxford United 1. Port Vale yet to win under Darren Moore. They've drawn 2 and they've lost 5. Stevenage 0, Leyton Orient 1. And Gillingham have equalised at home to Grimsby. It's 1-1 now at Priestfield. You're up to date. Mansfield have just got a third, incidentally. A goal at Ipswich, Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Great goal from Omari Hutchinson, swivelling on a sixpence inside the box, turning and just sweeping the ball past Beadle in the Wednesday net. Ipswich 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
We'll go to Valley Parade after this free kick for Nottingham Forest, which is midway through the Luton half. They're playing as we look from right to left. About 10-15 yards in from the right touchline, in front of that old main stand on that far side. Gibbs White to take it. Luton Town have got a line of orange shirts just outside the D of their own penalty area. Everybody back for Luton Town. So they've got a bit of protection there for the goalkeeper Kaminski. Gibbs White, left arm aloft, stuttering run up, right footed. In it comes now, and they're headed from volley wide. To Valley Parade, Shojo.
Yeah, Bradford 3, Mansfield 0. Their fans are absolutely bouncing. It came on the break, flowing move. Will Swan to Davies Keeler-Dunn, slotting home for his 15th of the season. Jamie Walker's missed an absolute sitter for Bradford at the other end. Bradford 0, Mansfield 3.
Bradford City 0, Mansfield 3. Pat Murphy at the Hawthorns watching West Brom against Bristol City.
It's 0-0. It's all rather anemic at the moment, although Sykes for Bristol City fluffed the chance 15 yards out. Johnson just now at last made some space for himself at West Brom, but shot 6 yards wide. West Brom 0.
Second against third in League One. Derby against Bolton. Charlie Slater.
minutes, and it should be 1-0 to Bolton if it weren't for the incredible reflexes of the Derby keeper Joe Wildsmith, saving from 4 yards out from the head of John Budvardsson. Still 0-0.
Lincoln have got a second goal at home to Bristol Rovers. Nottingham Forest are attacking, but Mpanzo cuts out that ball, prevents it from reaching Sangari. Morris now midway through his own half, being held back. He's not happy. The referee's given the free kick to Luton Town. Another goal at MK Dons, Andy Stevenson.
Where Crewe have equalised. It's their top scorer, Elliot Nevitt, with his 14th goal of the League Two season. It's the first real attack Crewe had put together. MK Dons 1, Crewe 1.
Accrington have equalised as well at home to Notts County. Accrington 1, Notts County 1. To Turf Moor, Maz Faruqi.
Tony has headed well over from a set piece of Brentford. That regular on red card was in fact for the challenge on Bettino, which led to the penalty, which I think could be viewed as a harsh decision against Brentford. Thomas Frank still unhappy. Still Burnley 1, 10-man Brentford 0.
Clark with a cross from the right, easily claimed by Matt Sells. Mark Warburton.
Yeah, very much so. The game's got a bit frenetic last 5 minutes. Ball's turning over far too quickly from both teams here, Ian. But I think just to calm down a little bit here and get good possession of the ball. The one shine light for me is Barkley, who's showing his quality.
Yes, he's been a key player for Luton Town, and will continue to be influential if they're to have any hope of avoiding the drop from the Premier League. This is his 24th successive start.
No, he's been magnificent from the start of the season, as you rightly say, and he's getting the ball here. He's making things happen for Luton. He's varying the range of his pass, and as I say, he's an outstanding player.
I listened to Gareth Southgate's interview with John Murray during the week after he'd named his squad, and of course there had been talk of Ross Barkley featuring that, as Clark picks up the ball on this right hand side, gets away from Sangari, enters the penalty area. Clark then goes down, but it was no foul, and it will go out of play for a goal kick. And Gareth Southgate just said it's just good to see him back playing regular football again.
It really is, after what he's been through in terms of dips in form and everything else, injuries, but he is a class act, there's no doubt about that. Game wise here, Ian, they're getting to good areas, Luton, but their final decision making is letting down right now. Some really good quality areas that can hurt Forest from these positions.
Well, you've already mentioned the stat that they've scored in each of their last 16 games in the Premier League, which is indeed a club record in the top flight, as Origi whips in a cross from the right-hand side for Nottingham Forest. Now Benny running back into his penalty area. He was aware of Ilanga on his left shoulder. He's right-footed, put the ball out of play for a throw.
No, absolutely. There's a couple of times Origi's run down that right flank now and causing problems.
So it's a throw to Nottingham Forest on this near side the left that Toffolo is going to take. They're attacking the Kenilworth Road end of the ground, for those of you who've been to this stadium before, as Wood collects that throw and wins a corner kick, as Luton Town make sure that they get everybody back, and Gibbs White is going to go across to take it. He's such a handful, is Chris Wood, using and utilising his strength so well.
They've got good presence, haven't they, in the area? Look at the physicality of some of the players. Bolly going up there as well. Yates is good aerially, strong aerially, so they have good presence here, Ian. Quality of ball from Gibbs White needs to be special here.
So as we look for Nottingham Forest playing from right to left, it's on this near side the left. This should be an in-swinging corner from Gibbs White, as Ilanga makes a run to the left corner of the area. Now Chong has gone with him, but Gibbs White hasn't passed the ball to Ilanga, despite that little run towards him to offer the short option. In it goes, doesn't beat the first man. Headed out by Barkley. MK Dons 2, Crewe 1, Kilmarnock 0, St Mirren 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership, and Lincoln have got a third goal at home to Bristol Rovers. Let's get news of that MK Dons goal from Andy.
Well, this is lively. MK Dons have gone ahead. What a tussle this is turning into. Stephen Wern plays the ball through to Matt Dennis, and he fires it into the roof of the net. His second, his team's second. It's MK Dons 2, Crewe 1.
Murillo's just hit a ball straight the way through towards Kaminsky. It was Toffolo who'd made the darting run forward. Let's get an update in the rugby union from Molly Stevens.
Wales 0, Italy 18. Whatever Warren Gatland said at half-time did not work. Italy sleek with their passes and charged forward with pace from the halfway line. Lorenzo Pani coasts over for the Italians. Second try of the day. Wales 0 to Italy 18.
The wooden spoon for Wales, and a reminder for Ireland against Scotland. The coverage will start on Sports Extra at 4:45, and then as soon as we're finished here at Kenilworth Road, we will cross to Dublin. Another goal at Stoke, Lee Blakeman.
Stoke 0, Norwich 1. Norwich on the counter, through ball. Sargent just about beat the offside trap, slotted it past Iverson. Stoke 0, Norwich 1.
0-0 remains here at Kenilworth Road. The ball played back to Doherty. Do you think only now that the tempo's just dropping a fraction?
Yeah, it is. The game's settled down now, hasn't it? I think Forest see Origi as a definite outlet for them. He's causing Kabore some problems on what is Luton's left flank here, so clearly they're looking to involve him in the game here, but the ball is still turning over too quickly. He needs to calm down, have some more quality possession, I think.
Well, Barkley's just passed the ball out towards Orbeni. He's been closed down now by Ilanga back there. Sangare will run towards Mpanzu. Chong has switched to this near side, the right. Got a bit of room to run into. He runs to the edge of the area, plays the ball back to Mpanzu, who waits. Passes it now towards Obeni. Toffolo stands in front of him. Luton Town are attacking. Obeni goes towards the byline. Toffolo, though, stands his ground well. Back towards Mpanzu. Delivers in the cross. It's high, it's curling. And Doughty has actually kept the ball from going behind, but he hit it on the full right-footed and he knocked it out of play for a throw on the far side. Just needed a better ball in.
It does, and I think Luton have thrived on good quality cross deliveries throughout this season, Ian, so certainly, especially from Alfie Doughty on the left-hand flank, need to get better ball out wide and give cross deliveries in to give Morris a chance to attack it.
Hibs 3, Livingston 0, Motherwell 0, Aberdeen 1 is the latest score also in the Scottish Premiership. And Forest with the throw, with Nico Williams, lifts it high downfield, headed away by Mengi. And Panzu finds Doughty almost immediately in front of him. Morris tries to play it back down that left side. It was blocked, comes to Kabore. He goes back all the way towards Kaminsky. And now it's with Mengi, who's going to hoist the ball out to this near side. Taken well on the chest by Obeni. Found him well on the right-hand side. Clark comes short. Obeni passes it back. Burt, the central defender, joins the attack. Tries to hit a diagonal ball that Williams is able to control inside his own penalty area, and then chip the ball up towards Origi. And then it goes out of play, and it will be a Luton Town throw over on that far side. Yet another goal at MK Dons. Andy Stevenson.
Yeah, 4 goals in the opening 25 minutes. MK Dons have 3 of them now. Skipper Alex Gibney put the ball on a plate for Stephen Wern, who couldn't miss from around the penalty spot. MK Dons 3, Crew 1.
So tight at the top of League 2 when you think you've got the leaders Mansfield Town, who are 3-0 up at Valley Parade on 69 points, all the way down to MK Dons in 5th, just on 64. As Burke passes it to Obeni, looks to link up with Clark. The return ball, Obeni with the cross. Williams heads it away, only as far as Chong. First touch just probably let him down a fraction. Couldn't get the shot away then, but they try and win it back on the edge of the area. Barkley goes to ground on one knee, pops up, and Panzu battling for it. Darren England has had a good look at that. He's let play continue, and then Clark's hit the ball forward looking for the run of Obeni, and it will go out of play for a Forest throw. We'll nip back to Burnley. Maz Faruqi.
Almost a terrible own goal from O'Shea. It was a back pass Muric wasn't expecting. He had to scramble to keep it out of his own net. The 10 men of Brentford definitely are still in this, but it's still Burnley 1, Brentford 0.
And another goal at Stoke. Lee Blakeman.
Another goal for Norwich. They lead 2-0. Sainz at the heart of it again, away down the left, rolled it back to the edge of the area. Sara with the low shot, bottom corner. Stoke 0, Norwich 2.
They've only had 1 win in 8 away games before today, have Norwich City. As there's a free kick to Luton Town. Been such an intense contest.
It really has. I think width is going to be so important this afternoon, Ian. I think Obeni's pulling Alanga back and dragging him back and negating that positive threat from him. Likewise, Origi on the far side for Forest. It's important to have the width. Doughty has a great cross delivery so far. Has been fairly inactive in the game. So important to get these wide players in, get the balls into both boxes.
Because they have changed that formation, and when we were saying do they go to a flat back 4 before we came on air, you did mention to me the fact that if they do that, they essentially negate the qualities of Doughty as he can get forward as a left wing back.
No, absolutely. He's been so effective on throughout this season. As I say, with Morris, someone who can attack the ball and has a physicality and presence to really hurt the opposition. It's important to use the best attributes. No doubt about Doughty's quality.
Swindon 0, Doncaster 2 is the latest score in League 2, and Wigan are leading Blackpool by 1-0 in League 1. You're up to date with the goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service, and BBC Sounds as we approach the half-hour mark. As Nico Williams has gone to ground on that far side.
Well, Nico Williams went the challenge there, but he handled the ball, which you can clearly see here. There's the handball, and the referee Darren England's given a free kick against Luton, which has upset the local fans.
Didn't appear to be too much of a challenge from Chong either, did there?
Not really.
Free kick's been taken. Still a few boos echo around Kenilworth Road in the direction of the referee, Darren England. Forest play the ball back to Toffolo, the left back. Down the line it goes towards Ilanga. Infield to Wood. The return ball, Ilanga caught, but he managed to get to Gibbs White. That was a sharp turn away from Mengi, and then Gibbs White gets a free kick. Certainly looked to make the most of that, and it's a yellow card has been shown. It's a free kick to Nottingham Forest just outside the penalty area, as we'll go to Celtic and Gavin Wallace.
It's still Celtic nil, St Johnstone nil in after 29 minutes. Best chance just a second ago. Luke Robinson appeared to handle it on the ball. Quick VAR check, just on the line said no handball. It remains Celtic nil, St Johnstone nil.
He was very, very sharp, wasn't he, Gibbs White, in the initial turn.
First touch was excellent, great quality, got away from the defender, and he draws a free kick and wins it in the key area now for Nottingham Forest. But they've got a real attacking presence. When you look at Ilanga, Gibbs White, Wood, Origi on the far side, that's the strength of the team. Kabore was shown a yellow card as well. He was looking at any opportunity to go to ground was Gibbs White, but he got the free kick, and now it is he who's eyeing this one up, and we are right behind this. Murillo is also there. Now Chong is lying down behind a four-man wall inside the Luton Town penalty area. Kaminski, there's also a three-man Forest wall too, which I'm expecting to break, and so Kaminski is mindful of that. Gibbs White or Murillo, 0-0 at Kenilworth Road, 5 Live the World Service. It's Gibbs White, right-footed, and then he's trying to go the other way. He's trying to go the left-hand side, he's got too much underneath it and out for a goal kick. Disappointing, great area for Forest to try and benefit. As Matt Newsom, Huddersfield, Hull KR.
Yeah, Huddersfield trailing 8 points to 0 to the Robins here. It was a second try. Jez Litton, it was a scruffy one, taken over the goal line, ball came loose, and there was Litton to dot it down. Lengthy review, try given. Huddersfield 0, Hull KR 8.
14 minutes to go to half time. The 31 minutes have absolutely whistled by as Kaminski takes his time with the goal kick. Remains goalless. Over the head of about 3 players, bounces off the back of Clark. Sangare towards Murillo, quickly closed down by 2 players. Burke tries to stab it away, picked up by Gibbs White, tried to release Origi, took a bit of a ricochet. Ilanga finds Origi now, and goal line block was a fantastic one from Rhys Burke. Origi steadied himself, right-footed, it looks a goal all the way, and then Rhys Burke somehow manages to claw it off the goal line.
Magnificent defending here, but in truth he should have had a chance to do that. Great area for Forest. Origi, as you say, calmed himself. It should be 1-0 to Forest.
And back into the grateful arms of Kaminski. But Nottingham Forest, by far the best opportunity of the game.
Absolutely, but they're the moments of the game that can change everything. Such an important game for so many obvious reasons. You have to take those chances.
Nottingham Forest before today, 5 hours and 12 minutes without a goal since Gibbs White scored in that 4-2 defeat at Aston Villa, and Origi had the opportunity there to register his first Premier League goal for Nottingham Forest and give them the lead, but Rhys Burke did ever so well to get back.
But again, we saw the pace of Ilanga in Gibbs White. Ilanga, they've got real pace up top here. They have to utilise that.
Saw them use it to good effect at Newcastle United over the festive period, where Chris Wood scored a hat-trick. Doughty forward on that left-hand side, infield to Chong, can't get away from Yates. Yates goes onto his knees, and then Chong will prevent the quick free kick from being taken for Nottingham Forest. It remains 0-0, and it is a free kick to the away side that they're now in no real hurry to take themselves, with just over 10 minutes to go to the break. You can certainly feel what it means for both teams.
The tension's in the air, the fans understand it, every player's aware of it. The implications are huge for both clubs, Ian. But I think the game will open up, certainly second half, we have to see that. The first goal will be key, of course.
Yeah. Kaminski downfield. And if it was to be Luton Town as well, after what happened in midweek, they will not be resting on their laurels, as here is Gibbs White with a cross that is put in the back of the net by Chris Wood. Gibbs White just floated the ball in, and Wood just outstretched right-footed, guided it past Kaminski, and the all-important first goal goes to Nottingham Forest. Luton 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
And there's that threat on Luton's left flank. Forest right flank delivery comes in there. Wood with his qualities, experience, and a good finish, positive finish, and a huge first goal.
Chris Wood with his 150th goal of his English League career. He has certainly thrived under Nuno Espirito Santo. 6 goals in 7 of his last Premier League games. But it was such an inviting ball, wasn't it, from Gibbs White?
It really was. Look at the quality out wide there. Width is going to be key to both teams we mentioned earlier, but a good quality finish, showing that experience here. And I think it's important now to see how Luton react to this. Huge 10 minutes into half-time.
Chris Wood's name is being sung by the travelling support. Took it with the outside of his right boot just to take it away from Kaminski. And now let's see how Luton Town reacts. We know that they've shown on a number of occasions that they've come back in various games this season, but in light of what happened to them at Bournemouth on Wednesday night when they squandered a 3-goal lead, now this will test their resolve to see if they can bounce back off the canvas.
Ian, throughout the season they've shown their resilience, their togetherness, their unity, there's no doubt about that, but as you say, midweek was a huge result, and the impact of that on the character of the squad will be so important to see.
That's the voice of Mark Warburton. So this huge game down at the bottom of the table, and it's Nottingham Forest who lead by 1-0. Burnley, of course, are right down there in the mix too. They're taking on Brentford today. Mas Faruqi.
And there was almost an equaliser. Visser trying to run onto the ball over the top from Brentford. It's a nervy turf more, given how Burnley haven't held on to leads this season despite their man advantage, but it's still Burnley 1, 10-man Brentford 0.
Yeah, they haven't had much to cheer about, Burnley supporters. They have the worst home record in the Premier League. Mind you, Nottingham Forest away from home since returning to the top flight in 2022. They've only won 3 of their 33 Premier League away games. So Forest on their travels haven't really provided much joy for their loyal supporters. But they are ahead, crucially, in this game at Kenilworth Road, and we have 9 minutes remaining to half-time. Barkley passes the ball up towards Morris, and Morris tried to lay it back towards Mpanzu, but it was won back in the midfield area by Nottingham Forest and back towards Sells. We were just talking about the all-important goal as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Timing of that first goal. I think you mentioned the supporters in. It's really vital here that the home crowd get behind Luton now. Obviously, we're talking again about midweek result, but they need to back the team here. They had done superbly well all season, but this afternoon is so critical for them to be heavily involved in this.
Ball played out towards Origi. Williams will go on the overlap, but he's not required. Instead, it's infield to Yates. Back with Origi midway through the Luton half. Forest are 1-0 up on BBC Radio 5 Live. No other goals to tell you about so far. Back with Bolly, and Bolly with a back pass to Sells. Full-backs are pushed on both sides, so it's just the 2 centre-backs and Sangari as the 3 outfield players in the Nottingham Forest half, as that ball downfield will be cleared away by Doughty and will go to London Road. Ellen Ellard.
Peterborough 0, Portsmouth 0, but Peterborough should be ahead. Efron Mason-Clark dancing into the area, his shot pinging off the underside of his former teammate Will Norris's bar. Still 0-0 here.
Motherwell 1, Aberdeen 1 is the latest score at Fir Park in the Scottish Premiership. Doughty forward, he's done well, Doughty. Strong run on that left-hand side, down towards the corner flag, pulls it back behind Chong. He thought Barkley was going to get there, but instead it's with Gibbs White, and Gibbs White now holds on to it, passes it back out towards Williams, and on that right touch line now with Origi. Of course, Forest now have the luxury of every time Luton come onto them, they can strike on the counter.
No, but I'm thinking back myself to the Villa game just a few weeks ago, where the first half easily Luton could have been 4 or 5 down here, and they came out after half-time and were rejuvenated and were superb in their performance. It could easily have been 3-2 ahead. So we know they can raise their game. It's important to get to half-time only 1-0 down. I'm saying that in a negative way to Rob, then regroup and show what they can do second half.
Well, there's 7 minutes to go to that interval for Rob Edwards to have a word and try and galvanise those players, as Mark Warburton was just saying, as here is Sangari, lets it come across his body, passes the ball right-footed out towards Williams. Colchester 0, Walsall 1, the latest score in League 2. Williams makes a run forward, right corner of the area, little flick out towards Origi. Now it's with Yates, forward ball, Williams right-hand side with the cross, and Kaminski with the catch inside his penalty area.
That right flank for Forest is posing too many problems for Luton in here. I think Kabore having problems in the Origi and Williams breaking forward as well, so they've got to resolve that problem.
Do you think maybe at half-time he might change it? Because I'm thinking of Luton's efforts have all been from Ross Barker, those 3 long-range efforts.
Yeah, we had a similar problem in the Villa game, as I say, a couple of weeks ago, so I think what could well change is the threat there is too obvious at the moment.
Here is Obeni. Gets away from the lunge of Sangari. Does a little step over. Sangari, though, is back at him. They've doubled up on Obeni. On this near side, the right. Works over the cross. Quite a difficult one to control for Morris. Murillo clears it away for the away side. Wood, though, couldn't bring it under control. Infield to Chong. Doughty is free. Chong will shoot, but it was always off target. Took a deflection on its way through. And that will be a corner kick to Luton Town.
And this should be their threat. Here, the number of headed goals they've scored this season, the vulnerability of Forest is well known, so important to get good quality ball in the box now.
Well, Doherty is going to walk in front of that travelling support in the Oak Road stand, and he is going to be an in-swinging corner kick. Nottingham Forest, who lead by a goal to nil with 5 minutes to go to the break, have got everybody back, so it's a very, very crowded penalty area. Luton Town have two players lurking just inside the D. As the ball comes in and it's headed away by Sangari. Morris will get there on the left. Morris waits for it to settle, runs his way back, passes it back then to Kabore, the last line of defence, and Panzu has stayed forward. Kabore, though, holds on to it a little bit longer, passes it down to Doughty, takes it high up the chest, almost onto his shoulder, and Panzu lifts it over the head of Murillo, enters the penalty area, and that was a teasing ball in, and Burke was the player who was looking to try and finish it, and it was Williams with the all-important goal line clearance.
Again, tremendous defending. So as I said, Murillo missed out on the challenge there. Good area for Luton Town. They had men at the far post, but a tremendous piece of defending. Another corner comes in here, big chance for Luton.
Certainly was very good defending, because it was fired in from the right-hand side. Doughty to take the corner kick. It should be another in-swinger from this right-hand side. Luton looking for an equaliser. In it comes now. Mengi bundles the ball in, and Luton Town are level. It was the corner kick from the right-hand side, and Mengi was making sure that one was his. He wasn't going to miss. But has the referee ruled it out?
I think he's looking at handball. I didn't see the instant. Looking for the replay now, Ian. Luton players have wheeled away. They thought they scored. I'm not sure what Down's seen.
It'll be checked as a matter of course by VAR. Andy Madley at Stockley Park. In it came. And it did, I think, just strike the left arm of Ted Menges. He's then hit it right-footed.
Oh, it's a tight one, Ian, for sure. But clearly the goal's been ruled out now.
So this goal does not stand. Luton Town equaliser is wiped out. Forest remain 1-0 up, but there has been another goal at Portman Road, Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Kiefer Moore's initial header from a corner, ricocheting off the crossbar, bundled into the net though by Cameron Burgess to make it Ipswich 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
And another goal, it's at Celtic this time, Gavin Wallace.
That has indeed, after a lengthy VAR check. Celtic 1, St Johnstone 0. Ball floated into the back post, and Kyogo Furuhashi, no qualms about it, sticks it well beyond Retoff in goal. Celtic 1, St Johnstone 0.
Shrewsbury lead Carlisle by a goal to nil. Kilmarnock 0, St Mirren 2, and Exeter have just taken the lead at home to Burton. We've got 3 minutes to go to half time, and it is a free kick to Luton Town.
Going back to disallowed goal in, it shows the vulnerability of Forest at set pieces once again.
It certainly does. It will offer hope, if nothing else, for Luton Town. Down at the bottom of League 2, Forest Green 0, Sutton 1 is a latest score as well. So this is a free kick for Luton, 10 yards inside the Nottingham Forest half. Quite a high line here to offer the protection to Matt Sells, the goalkeeper. Doughty's going to place it down as if he was a rugby union fullback with a conversion. He really is taking a lot of due care and attention, and then places his right foot just around the ball to press down the turf, and now hits it left-footed as it arcs its way across and straight out of play for a goal kick. And talking of the rugby union, Molly Stevens in Cardiff.
Yeah, 20 minutes to go here, Ian. Wales 0, Italy 18. Wales just don't look like a team at all. As I say that, Thomas Williams storms towards the try line but doesn't quite make it there. Wales in possession at the moment, but so far they haven't controlled this game whatsoever. Italy very much in the driving seat. As it stands, Wales 0, Italy 18.
So on BBC One, it's also live on Sports Extra. Ross County are 1-0 up at home to Hearts in the Scottish Premiership. You know, you were referencing the Villa game. What we've just seen from Luton Town almost gives you a bit of foresight as to what could happen in the second half with Luton.
Yeah, very much so. They were destroyed in that first half against Villa. Looked so far off the pace, and yet came out rejuvenated, as I say. Played with great intensity. Could easily have gone 3-2 up, Ian. But it's important for Rob to get them in there and have that chat with the players and calm them down and show that reaction.
Well, we'll find out how much added on time there will be very, very soon, because we're inside the last 60 seconds. Toffolo was going to take the throw, and then Rob Edwards just held on to his right arm and stopped him from doing so. Fourth official has just had a gentle reminder in the ear of the Luton Town manager. Plymouth 0, Preston 1 is the latest score in the Championship. The ball goes back to Sells, as now Sells, the goalkeeper for Forest, hits it right-footed downfield. Kabore heads it away only as far as Williams. Chris Wood's goal is the difference as we approach half-time here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Irigi tries to roll away from Kabore. Doughty, though, takes it away from him. Passes the ball forward and then played back by Morris, but that was a loose ball. Doughty helps win it back. Burke out now to this near side. O'Benny. Diagonal ball. Clark back towards O'Benny. And now the ball played back as there's going to be 3 minutes of added on time. We're into 3 minutes of stoppage time now here at Kenilworth Road. And this is with Mengi to Morris. And Panzu outside the centre circle. Back towards Burke. Luton Town. Can they get an equaliser in stoppage time as they trail by 1-0? The ball switch play out towards the left-hand side. Doughty just waits rather than delivering the ball first time. It allows Forest to get white shirts back behind the ball. And now Kabore on the halfway line will go all the way back, and we'll get news of a goal at St Andrews from Laura Kenyon.
Yeah, Birmingham 0, Watford 1. Dream start for Tom Cleverley. Emmanuel Dennis pouncing on a defensive mistake. Clinical finish. It's Birmingham 0, Watford 1.
1 win in 10 for Watford. Tom Cleverley, the interim manager. Birmingham City, well, so unfortunate with Tony Mowbray away from the touchline at the moment, but Birmingham without a win in 5, as just outside the relegation zone. Barkley to Doughty. Doughty with a cross, headed away by Bolly. And Panzu lifts it back. Mengi brings it under control. We're in stoppage time here at Kenilworth Road, where Nottingham Forest lead by 1-0. Clark looks towards O'Benny, comes back. Toffolo with interception. His clearance only as far as Burke. Level with the penalty area on the right-hand side. O'Benny's just behind him. Infield towards Mpanzu. Can they deliver the ball? But there was nobody really in the penalty area to do so. They play it back towards Barkley. Surges forward. Barkley, good close control. Enters the penalty area right-hand side. Out towards O'Benny. Plays it back towards Barkley. Barkley with the cross. Headed away by Murillo. And then Origi will roll away from Kabore, but Luton try and win it back. Another goal at Valley Parade. Jojo Saka.
Bradford 0, Mansfield 4. Bradford had stopped the bleeding, but not anymore. Davies Keeler-Dunn slipping in. Will Swan for his 10th of the season. Bradford 0, Mansfield 4.
Burke plays it out towards O'Benny, right-hand side. O'Benny forward along the ground towards Clark. The return ball. O'Benny, the angle is tight, and he's overhit it, and he runs it out of play for a goal kick. There's been another goal. This time it's scored at the Hawthorns. Pat Murphy.
At last, West Brom 1, Bristol City 0. After so many congested attacks fell down, Johnson weaved his way through a couple of defenders in the packed Bristol penalty area. Fellows had a pop for 15 yards with his left foot, and it worked. West Brom 1, Bristol City 0.
Accrington 1, Notts County 2, Fleetwood 0, Charlton 1 is the latest score in League One. Just a shame he miscontrolled it there, O'Benny, towards the end.
No, but you made a good point, Ian. They've got to get bodies in the box. At the moment, they get into wide areas, or when they do get into wide areas, there's only Morris in the box, if anyone, and they have to commit numbers forward. It's so important to get out wide, get the balls in the box and pose the problems.
Well, we witnessed them last week coming from behind to claim a precious point, but ideally when they're at home, and you think that they've only got 4 left at home after this one, and they've got to try and make the most of the games at Kenilworth Road, but the half-time whistle has sounded and Nottingham Forest have the all-important lead. Mark Warburton.
Yeah, it's a huge game, and the crowd here have to be more influential second half. They've got quiet, you can sense the nervous and the tension here, and there's no doubt about that, but a huge goal there for Forest. Nuno will go in there and be keen to make sure they do not allow Luton any strong reaction to start the second half. Likewise, Rob has to come in and galvanise that team.
Chris Wood with his 150th goal of his English League career, separating the two sides. Mengi had that goal disallowed, but half-time at Kenilworth Road in this crunch game down at the bottom. Luton Town 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Mark. Second half on the way. Italy lead Wales 18-0 in the Principality. They've got about 20 minutes to go. They're still waiting for the half-time whistle at Turf Moor in the Premier League. Mas Faruqi.
Yeah, we're into the last minute of stoppage time. 5 allocated minutes at the end of this first half. Brun Larsen just taking a shot on, forcing a good save from Flecken, but there was just an absolutely brilliant opportunity for Visser to equalise for Brentford in first half stoppage time a couple of minutes ago after Fofana again missed a brilliant opportunity to make it 2-0 at the other end. So this game could still go either way, even though at the moment it is still Burnley 1, 10-man Brentford 0.
The early game in the Championship was the South Wales derby. It went the way of Swansea. They beat Cardiff by 2-0. Leicester are in FA Cup action tomorrow. Leeds in Championship action tomorrow. So Ipswich could go into second this evening and be 1 point behind the leaders Leicester, and they are on course. Aaron Paul.
They are rampant, Mark. Ipswich 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Caden Jackson with a sumptuous cross into the box and drawing himself across the face of goals. Nathan Broadhead to divert the ball past James Beadle in the Sheffield Wednesday goal. Ipswich 3 to the good here, and we've got about a minute or so left of this first half. Ipswich 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Cambridge are yet to win under Gary Monk in League One, and they've gone further behind this afternoon at Reading. Femi Aziz has scored for the home side, and Reading lead Cambridge by 2-0. Let's go to the Hawthorns. Pat Murphy.
West Brom 1, Bristol City 0. 2 key moments in the sterile half. Conway for Bristol Rovers through. Left foot, one-on-one. Palmer spread himself brilliantly to block it. Just for half-time, Johnson went on the run, took a couple of defenders out. Fellows, left foot, 15 yards, made it West Brom 1, Bristol City 0.
To the Stoke-Norwich game next, Lee Blakeman.
Stoke 0, Norwich 2. 2 Norwich counter-attacks the difference. Sargent tapped in the first from a couple of yards out. Sarah produced a tidy left-footed finish for the second from the edge of the area. Stoke hit the post before those 2 goals following a great run from Kiana Hoover, but it's been comfortable for Norwich since. Stoke 0, Norwich 2.
Half-time whistle has now gone in the Premier League at Burnley. Maz.
Yeah, 1-0 to Burnley at half-time. That goal coming from the penalty spot from Jakob Brun Larsen after Reguilon eventually, after a pitch-side monitor check that must have lasted 5 minutes, was judged to have fouled Coutinho. I think it was a penalty, but it could be argued that the straight red card that was then shown to Reguilon was perhaps quite harsh. The atmosphere around Turf Moor, though, isn't bouncing. That's because Brentford are definitely not out of this. Visser with a couple of good opportunities, a really good one in particular in stoppage time when Fofana has had some really good opportunities at the other end to make it 2-0 to Burnley. There's sloppy play all over the pitch from both sides. I have no idea what's going to happen in the second 45. It could be anything, to be honest, but at the moment it is Burnley 1, 10-man Brentford 0.
Back to the Championship in the meeting of 2 of the bottom 3. It doesn't look like a classic on paper, Chris Coles.
And it's not been a classic in the first half. Rotherham 0, Huddersfield 0. A couple of decent chances for both. The best for Rotherham, Andy Rinomota hitting the post with a bending shot from the edge of the area. Huddersfield have had presentable moments, but they keep shooting straight at Rotherham goalkeeper Victor Johansson. Rotherham 0, Huddersfield 0.
Goalless at the Stadium of Light as well, Andy Sixsmith.
0-0 Chappers, bitty fragmented game with little flow, and the best chances falling to QPR. Lucas Anderson especially should have done better. His effort well saved by Anthony Patterson. Sunderland have offered so little. They'd be winless in 7, but for QPR boss Marty Cifuentes, who said he wasn't a magician last week, the R's need to pull a rabbit out the hat in this second half in their battle against the drop. 0-0.
Birmingham very much in a battle against the drop. Laura Kenyon.
Yeah, Birmingham 0, Watford 1. A tale of 2 caretaker managers just cancelling each other out for much of the first half. Birmingham creating but lacking any quality in the final third. Watford offering nothing going forwards, but on the stroke of half-time, Emmanuel Dennis scoring against the run of play. Cheap goal to concede 2 by relegation-threatened Birmingham. At half-time, Birmingham 0, Watford 1.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Middlesbrough 0, Blackburn 0. The half-time whistle has gone there. They're still waiting for the half-time whistle to go at Plymouth against Preston, and the visitors lead there. Liam Miller scored it, his 5th of the season. He actually came on as a sub this afternoon after just 7 minutes, but the half-time whistle still hasn't gone at Home Park, where Preston lead by 1-0. Has the Welsh comeback started in the Six Nations? Molly?
Well, we've seen it, haven't we, in this championship before, Max? So who knows? Wales 7, Italy 18. Finally, some life in this Principality Stadium. Wales hooker Elliot Dee getting Wales' first try and first points of the game. A driving maul goal, so Wales edge closer. They played out the phases as D eventually touched down, but it's whether or not they can gain some momentum from this, because so far in the 70 minutes almost we've played of this game, they haven't had any. Wales 7, Italy 18.
Half-time whistle has gone at Portman Road, and Ipswich leads Sheffield Wednesday by 3-0. Right, let's go into League One. Top four playing each other this afternoon. Fourth against first. First of all, this is goalless. Ellen Ellard.
Yeah, goalless here, but a good watch between two teams at the top of the table. Ephron Mason-Clark with two big chances for Peterborough. One shot pinging off the underside of the bar. He's also called his former teammate Will Norris into action to stop a low strike. Down the other end, Colby Bishop has had a header straight at Jed Steer, and an early substitution for Portsmouth. Christian Sadie coming off injured on 30 minutes. Yengi replacing him. He scored a brace in midweek, so could be the impact in the second half that Portsmouth need, but all 0-0 at the break.
Second against third, goalless as well. Charlie Slater.
It is only one real chance in the first half to tell you about. It fell to Bolton's John Bodvarsson, whose header was brilliantly saved from just 4 yards out by Derby's keeper Joe Wildsmith. The game not living up to the occasion so far, 0-0.
So the top four teams are all goalless. The side in fifth are goalless as well. That's Barnsley 0, Cheltenham 0, Exeter lead Burton by 1-0. Charlton scored a penalty right on the stroke of half-time to lead Fleetwood by 1-0. Alfie May got that one for Nathan Jones' side. 25 for the season for him. The side who can't stop scoring in League One are Lincoln. They put 5 past Barnsley last week. They put 6 past Cambridge during the week, and they've already put 3 past Bristol Rovers this afternoon. They lead by 3-0. It's Port Vale 0, Oxford 1, Reading 2, Cambridge 0. Sam Smith with his 12th of the season getting the first for Reading. Femi Aziz got the second. Shrewsbury lead bottom of the table Carlisle by 1-0. Daniel Udo with his 9th of the season there. Stevenage 0, Leyton Orient 1, Wigan 1, Blackpool 0, and it's goalless between Wickham and Northampton. The League Two leaders are absolutely flying. Shojo Saka.
Bradford 0, Mansfield 4 at half-time. A lightning first 18 minutes from league leaders Mansfield. Explosive in their energy, surgical in attack. Bailey Cargill heading home the opener. Lucas Akins, Davis Keeler-Dunn adding number 2 and 3. Jamie Walker missed from 7 yards for Bradford, their best chance. Mansfield then got their 4th through the excellent Will Swan in first half added time. They have been imperious. Bradford 0, Mansfield 4.
Plenty of goals in the other game we're at in League Two as well. MK Dons against Crewe. Andy Stevenson.
Yes, MK Dons lead Crewe 3-1. What a first 45 minutes with so much at stake in the race for League Two promotion. MK Dons went ahead early on through Matt Dennis, a bundled effort past Tom Booth in the Crewe goal after the away side failed to clear a Joe Tomlinson cross. Crewe equalised with pretty much their first attack. Elliot Nevitt with his 16th goal of the season, but then the home team made their superiority count. Dennis rifled a shot high into the net for his second, and Don skipper Alex Gibney, who's been brilliant, then put the ball on a plate for Stephen Were. And as things stand, the home side leapfrog their opponents into 4th and draw level on points with Stockport, who they play next Saturday.
Elsewhere in League Two, Notts County, who've lost their last 5, are ahead at the break. They lead at Accrington Stanley by 2-1. AFC Wimbledon 0, Newport 1. Goalless between Barrow and Harrogate. Harrogate haven't won in their last 7. Colchester, who are in a bit of trouble now in League Two, they're in 23rd, so in danger of being relegated. They do have games in hand on sides around them, but they trail at the break to Walsall. Colchester 0, Walsall 1. Forest Green Rovers and Sutton meet today. That's 22nd against 24th, and bottom of the table Sutton lead at the break. Forest Green Rovers 0, Sutton 1. Gillingham 1, Grimsby 1. Doncaster are 2-0 up at Swindon. Swindon have won just 1 of their last 9. And surprisingly, maybe, Wrexham are behind at the break. Wrexham 0, Tranmere 1. Into the Scottish Premiership. Celtic, as things stand, going back to the top of the table. Gavin Wallace.
We do indeed, Mark. Celtic 1, St Johnstone 0. You know that popular song by Paul McCartney, Someone's Knocking at the Door, Let Them In? Well, for 20 minutes of the first half, Celtic had a police battering ram smash it in to the St Johnstone rearguard. 2 off the line, 2 chalked off for onside, and only 1 to show for it. It came on 40 minutes. Nicholas Kuhn's beautiful cross to the back post was nodded home by Kyogo for a Hashi for his 10th of the season. That's the difference at the break. Celtic 1, St Johnstone 0.
Turning into a terrible afternoon for Livingston. The bottom of the table, they've conceded 3 to Hibs after the first 45 minutes. Hibs 3, Livingston 0. And Ross County, the side above them in the Scottish Premiership, lead Hearts by a goal to 0 at the break. It's also Kilmarnock 0, St Mirren 2, Motherwell 0, Aberdeen 1. In the Scottish Championship this afternoon, Airdrieonians 2, Arbroath 1, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1, Ayr 1, Partick 1, Morton 0, and it's Queen's Park 0, Wraith 0. Last night, Dundee United, the leaders, were beaten 3-1 at Dunfermline. So if Wraith were to win that game at Queen's Park, they'd go to the top of the table. In Scottish League 1, Edinburgh City 2, Alloa 1. That would mean that Edinburgh City won't be relegated this afternoon. They have to win to postpone it for another week, depending on what happens with Annan, who are winning 1-0 at Montrose. Hamilton 1, Stirling 0, and Kelty Hearts 0, Cove Rangers 0. The other scores in League 1. In League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Clyde 0, Forfar 0, Stenhouse Muir 1, Peterhead 1, East Fife 0, Spartans 2, Dumbarton 3, and 10-man Stranraer 0, Elgin 0. I just haven't given you the National League half times. AFC Fylde 0, Wealdstone 1, Borehamwood 0, Altrincham 0. Goalless between Bromley and Kidderminster. Dagenham and Redbridge are 2-0 up on Maidenhead. Dorking 0, Solihull Moors 0. Rochdale are 2-1 up at Eastleigh. Ebbsfleet 1, Gateshead 2, but Gateshead are down to 10 in that game. And Hartlepool against Southend, Woking versus Barnet, and York against Aldershot are all goalless. Earlier in the Women's Super League, Everton were beaten 2-1 at home by Aston Villa. 2 games in Super League this afternoon. Hull FC have had an absolutely terrible first half at home to Lee. They trail by 30 points to 4. The other side of Hull are doing better at Huddersfield. Matt Newsom.
Yeah, not quite had the points fest here. It's back underway, second half. Huddersfield 0, Hull KR 8. Huddersfield running through the gears here early in this second half. They were pretty much toiling without reward in the first. 2 tries for Hull KR, Joe Burgess and Jess Litton. They were ruthless rather than relentless, should I say, in that first period. And it's Huddersfield 0,
Ruthless,
Hull KR 8.
Ruthless and relentless?
Well, rather than. Ruthless rather than.
Oh, right, OK. Right, there we go. Got there in the end. The Welsh comeback didn't last very long, Molly Stevens.
Wales 7, Italy 24. Italy just looking to extend that lead now, aren't they? 2 penalties since I last spoke to you, Mark. And I've got to let you into a little conversation that we've heard on the referee's mic here. During a break, Neil Jenkins, one of the Wales coaches, came onto the pitch and said, blue high tackle to the referee, and he said, your job is to bring the water on. And Neil Jenkins said, your job is to referee the game. So Jenkins clearly getting a little bit spicy there, feeling the frustrations all around the Principality here. Wales 7, Italy 24.
2 minutes past 4. This is 5 Live on a Saturday afternoon. Jill Mackenzie has your news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Vaughan Gething is due to become the next First Minister of Wales after winning the Labour leadership contest. He says it'll be a new page in the nation's history and he'll be the first black leader of any European country. The Russian authorities say 2 people have been killed in Ukrainian strikes on the city of Bielogorod, near the border with Ukraine. There have been further Russian attacks on Ukrainian targets in neighbouring Kharkiv. Sainsbury's has technical issues, meaning most of its online orders won't be delivered today and some stores can't take contactless payments. The supermarket has apologised and says it's because of a software update. Tesco is also experiencing some issues and some of their online orders have been cancelled. And there are major delays around the M25 in Surrey because a 5-mile stretch of the motorway is closed in both directions. Junction 10 to 11 will be shut all weekend so a bridge can be demolished.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman
on 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
4 minutes left in the Principality. Wales are going to take the wooden spoon in this year's Six Nations. Who's going to take the title? Chris Jones in Dublin.
Yeah, a bit of drizzle around Dublin today, Mark. Both teams out warming up as the Aviva starts to fill up. As you say, Italy on course for that famous win in Cardiff, consigning Wales to the wooden spoon. But it will take an even bigger away victory for Scotland to stop Ireland winning this Six Nations title. A win, a draw, or even one bonus point, and the title stays in Dublin. But they'll be desperate for a big win and performance to make up for that Twickenham disappointment this time last week. Lots at stake for Scotland too. Pride to restore after their defeat in Rome, and a first Triple Crown on the line since 1990 if Scotland could do what they haven't done in 14 years and win here in Dublin.
So, Ireland-Scotland on the way here on 5 Live at the conclusion of the football. It will start on Sports Extra. Then after Ireland-Scotland, it's Manchester City against Newcastle in the FA Cup. Coventry already through to the semi-finals after a 3-2 win at Wolves. And then, after the FA Cup tie between City and Newcastle, it will be France against England in the Six Nations. Before we get to all of that, let's have the second half at Kenilworth Road. Mark Warburton and Ian Dennis.
Thanks, Mark. We were speculating, weren't we, just towards the end of the first half about whether Luton would make a change, and they have. And Cauley Woodrow, who got that last gasp equaliser at Selhurst Park last weekend, is the player who's come on, and Doherty is the player who has gone off.
It's a surprise from the point of view of the quality of cross delivery from Doherty on that left flank. So maybe an injury, and we'll have to find out later on. But right now it's an important change. Woodrow's goal quality is well known, so hopefully he has a strong reaction here.
So Nottingham Forest unchanged at half-time. Sells in goal. Back four of Williams, Murillo, Bolly and Toffolo. Sangare, Yates, Ilanga, Gibbs-White, Origi and Wood the goal scorer, in their white shirts with the flash of sky blue across the front of their jerseys, and then the sky blue shorts. They're playing from left to right as we look in this second half against Luton Town in their orange shirts and navy shorts, who are attacking the Kenilworth Road end of the ground here and looking for an equaliser at least. You can't help but feel they've got to get at least something from this game. So they have Kaminsky in goal, Kabore at left back, Mengi and Burke, and as the ball played forward to Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White tries to get there. Good save coming in from Kaminsky. Made himself big and got the block in. O'Benny on the right to finish off their side. Clark, Barkley, Morris and Chong and Woodrow now for Luton Town. Just trying to see. So Woodrow's gone to the left. Morris is still through the middle. O'Benny on the right. Barkley and Clark in the middle. Is it like a 4-3-3?
I'm not sure here. I'm still trying to work this out. It looks like they've got. I'm just saying they've got Kabore here on the left side of let's have a look. Mengi, far side over there with Burke. I'm not sure. I think they've reverted back to a 3 then.
Right. So certainly the changes, they'll hope that is a positive one for Rob Edwards. Certainly O'Benny is high up on the pitch on that far side. He's taken Ilanga back with him. So yeah, I think you're right, Mark. Kabore, Mengi and Burke as the back three, and then O'Benny and Chong as now the wing backs for Luton Town.
Yeah, I think it's more as a 2 with Woodrow feeding off of Morris there.
As a challenge comes in on Morris. Colchester United have equalised at home to Walsall in League 2. Colchester 1, Walsall 1. The usual goal service on a Saturday afternoon, and then as soon as we finish, we're off to Ireland, Scotland to see if the Irish can clinch the title. Tomorrow we've got Chelsea against Leicester City in the FA Cup quarter-final from 12:45, and then second half commentary of West Ham, Aston Villa. Incidentally, after Ireland, Scotland, we'll have the second half of Manchester City against Newcastle United. Of course, Coventry in dramatic circumstances beating Wolverhampton Wanderers in the first quarter-final by 3-2 earlier. As Luton Town with the free kick, now attacking on that far side, the right. Back it goes to Burke, infield to Mengi. They had that goal disallowed in the first half. Handball from Mengi as Williams sweeps it away downfield. The aforementioned Mengi gets there before Gibbs-White. Back towards Kaminsky. Remember, Spurs in October are the only visiting side to have kept a clean sheet here at Kenilworth Road this season. Gibbs-White looks up, shoots, but drags it wide. And he's been berated by Chris Wood. He knew straight away what he wanted to do. He had a little look and then he shot.
No, absolutely, but I think Luton got to take care of the football here. It's turning over far too easy. There's no need for them to force it in. Mengi goes long, ball turns over again. Burt goes long, ball turns over. Take care of the football here and get the ball out wide and get the ball into the box now. They've got Woodrow, they've got Morris. They need to use those attributes.
Elsewhere, Swindon 1, Doncaster 2 is the latest score in League 2. We're in the company of Mark Warburton this afternoon here at Kenilworth Road. 3.5 minutes into the second half under the grey skies. The Nottingham Forest fans with their incessant chanting away towards our right as Yates hits it high downfield. Origi will look for the bounce of the ball. Little nudge on Kabore, and the referee Darren England spotted that little push just at the base of the back to knock him off balance to give away a free kick.
No need really, is there? He knows he's going to go down in any sort of contact, Ian, and he got away from a dangerous position there.
Well, Kaminski places it down. The worrying statistic for Luton Town is that when they've conceded first in 19 games this season, they are yet to win. They've drawn 5 and lost 14 in what is such a crucial game down at the bottom of the table. 3 points was the difference between the two, separating Forest just outside the relegation zone and Luton Town inside the bottom 3. And Luton Town are attacking. Mpanzu to Obeni, far side the right with the cross. Little flick by Clark, taken away from Morris by Bolly. Runs out of play and it will go behind for a corner kick, but full time in the Six Nations in Cardiff. Molly Stevens.
Wales 21, Italy 24. Not the final Wales appearance George North would have wanted. He's gone off limping. Will Rowlands and Mason Grady with 2 last-minute consolation tries for Wales. They take the wooden spoon. Warren Gatlin's first ever, and 5 defeats from 5 for Wales for the first time since 2003. Italy, meanwhile, their best ever finish in the championship. Full-time here, Wales 21, Italy 24.
Corner kick to Luton Town, trailing by a goal to nil. Barkley on that far side, aimed towards Woodrow, comes to Clark, hits it on the volley, left-footed inside the penalty area, couldn't keep it down. Goal kick, Forest still lead.
Now there's a threat though, again a set piece. They got the first contact and attempt on goal straight from the start of this second half here, and they look more direct. Luton going to go long to Morris, Woodrow running off, Clark running off, so looking to be more direct into those areas and pick up good second ball.
Celtic have got a second goal at home to St Johnstone. Gavin Wallace will bring us news of it.
About 30 seconds after the restart, Ian, Nicholas Kuhn was in the right place at the right time. It was a low ball drilled into the corridor of doubt. He was the architect for the first goal. He scored the second. Celtic 2, St Johnstone 0.
I mentioned earlier that Darren Moore's still looking for his first win as Port Vale manager. Port Vale are still looking for their first win in 2024, and they've conceded again. Port Vale 0, Oxford United 2 is the latest score in League One. You're up to date. You're listening to 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. And in this crucial game at the bottom of the Premier League, it's Nottingham Forest who lead by a goal to nil. As Mengi inside his own half, Kabore right-footed clears, Yates beats Barkley in the air. And it comes back towards Kabore. Chong keeps it in play right down in front of us here as very tight and congested. Origi running back towards the halfway line, tries to open it up towards Ilanga. Nice first touch by Ilanga, plays it infield to Woods. The return ball towards Ilanga. Ilanga gets there. Ilanga in the penalty area, rolls it goalwards, and what a clearance on the goal line by Mengi, preventing a certain second goal.
Lovely link-up play again, showing a quality in the attacking areas. Ilanga's through there, did everything right, but again, great defensive work.
It really was. It was terrific work right at the last moment by Mengi from Ilanga.
An important touch by Kaminski as well.
Because 2-0 down, it would have been really, really difficult for Luton Town to come back from. And they've dealt with the throw-in on this near side and quelled that latest attack from Nottingham Forest. Another goal at the Hawthorns in the Championship. Pat Murphy.
Another one for West Brom. The second came from Wallace, rolling it in after a splendid move, fed by Johnson to Townsend, across the face of the goal, tapping from Wallace. 2-0 West Brom.
Darren England has just given a free kick. Morgan Gibbs-White says that he got the ball. Chris Wood also has a word in the shell-like of the referees. It's a free kick to Luton Town.
Not well received by the Forest fans there, that's for sure, Ian. But there's no need for Luton to give away the ball cheap like this and make these type of mistakes. Don't encourage Forest in any shape or form. Well,
only Newcastle United as a promoted side, and it was that exciting Kevin Keegan team of 93-94 have gone on a longer run of scoring in consecutive games for a promoted side in the Premier League, as Chong makes a good run forward, delivers the cross, it's high, it's drifting, and it drifts behind and out for a goal kick. Another goal in the Championship, this time at Portman Road, Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 4, Sheffield Wednesday 0, devastated from the home side. Nathan Broadhead just inside the D square ball to Omari Hutchinson, who buried for his second of the afternoon, and Ipswich is fourth. Ipswich 4, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
So they'll go 2 points clear of Leeds United and a point behind Leicester City at the top, albeit Leeds and Leicester will have a game in hand on Ipswich Town. And trying to avoid dropping into the Championship are these two teams here at Kenilworth Road, as Origi's flick on, taken on the chest by Burke for Luton. O'Benny closed down quickly by Elanga. He's got Gibbs White ahead of him, tries to find a way through, and then Gibbs White with a foul on O'Benny, and that will be a free kick to Luton. 54 minutes played. Mark Warburton.
Unnecessary, Ian. Again there, ball from Burke over to O'Benny there. No need to give it away. Encourages Gibbs White to jump on the ball and win possession in the key area. They got away with the free kick, but I think it's important to take care of the football here.
You know, we're getting to the business end of the season, and producer Claire sent me through the various permutations yesterday of what can happen in the various leagues, and the first of which could have been settled in the National League for Chesterfield. Had they beaten Oldham, they could have been promoted. If Barnet then would have failed to have beaten Woking, but the 2-2 draw at Oldham means that the champagne is on ice, but it's surely only a matter of time for Paul Cook and his team. What are they, 24 points clear of Barnet, as over on that far side is
a strong challenge by Murillo, I think, here
on Mpanzu,
and has put him into the hoardings. The local fans not happy at all.
I mean, that's the thing about this place, isn't it? I mean, it's such a cramped ground. There is no room away from the playing surface if you are to get such a knock.
No, there's no surrounding area at all, but right there it was a really tough and strong challenge. You saw what happened. I'm not sure what Down England's going to do here with any reaction, or whether it's just the hoardings. Hopefully the player's okay.
Well, Mpanzu felt a bit of a knock in the first half. He's on his haunches at the moment. The physio's just crouching to have a word as well. I mean, Murillo is a stocky guy. It was just a shoulder barge, but into the top of the advertising hoardings, and Mpanzu okay to continue.
Yeah, that was a painful one, Ian, for sure. Right on the top of the hoardings there.
Free kick then to Luton Town, trailing by a goal to nil. They're playing from right to left as we look. It's on that far side, the right. It's midway through the Nottingham Forest half. Barkley complaining that Elanga is not back the full 10 yards. He hits it, right-footed. It's a deep one, into the penalty area. Partially cleared. Chong tries to head in under a challenge from Gibb White, and the bouncing ball collected by Sells. To the Rugby League we go. Huddersfield, Hull KR, Matt Newsom.
Yeah, and at the moment Hull KR are having a field day. It's 20 points to nil. 2 tries from Peter Hiku, one off a kick, the other one of a searing break from Niall Edwards. They are in control. It's Huddersfield 0, Hull KR 20.
Monday Night Club from 7. Conor Cody and Shay Given join Mark Chapman from 7 o'clock on BBC Radio 5 Live, as we'll get another update from the other game taking place in the Premier League at Turf Moor with Maz Faruqi.
55 minutes played, still 1-0. Jakob Brun Larsen score of the penalty with a ball across the face of goal, which Martino just couldn't get a touch on. Fofana has had a chance to. Somehow it is still Burnley 1, 10-man Brentford 0.
And Mpanzu has gone down, and maybe he's not able to continue after all. In fact, Murillo has actually gone across to have a word with him, but the way that he just beat his fist on the ground tells you that he might not be able to continue.
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration in that action, Ian. I think he knows there's a problem here that he has to come off the pitch.
Well, he's getting treated to at the moment, but they're just trying to manipulate the right ankle, which might have just taken a little bit of a... No, he's actually just put his hands up to say don't make the change just yet. He might be able to continue. Meanwhile, we will go to Rotherham and Chris Coles,
where Huddersfield are down to 10 men. Still Rotherham 0, Huddersfield 0, but Sorba Thomas has been shown a second yellow card, his second for clipping Oliver Rathbone when in a dangerous position. Rotherham 0, 10-man Huddersfield 0.
So Mpanzu's still getting treated, and Andros Townsend is getting some instructions from Paul Trollope, so it looks like the change is likely to happen one way or another. Whilst there's a stoppage in play, we can go to Stoke. Lee Blakeman.
Stoke 0, Norwich 2. Stoke with a really good chance to get back into it though. Baker with the cross from the left, found the header. Tyrese Campbell 6 yards out, landed on the roof of the net. Stoke 0, Norwich 2.
And to Peterborough in League One, Ellen Ellard.
Still 0-0 here, Peterborough with a lot of the possession early in this second half. They've had a good chance. Katongo up the right-hand side to the byline. Cross came in off the back of Malik Mothersill, who watched on as it crept past the far post. 0-0 here.
Well, the referee's told Mpanzu he's got to go off. Now, of course, he's got to go off for a minimum 30 seconds, and the change might not be happening just yet. I just noticed that Andros Townsend has put his bright green bib on. So he's poised and ready, but they might just check Mpanzu. As Nuno Espirito Santo voices his displeasure at that free kick for a foul on Morris. And Mpanzu's still trying to test out that right ankle of his. As we can go to Derby, Charlie Slater.
58 on the clock, still 0-0. Bolton on top in the early stages of this second half, but no real clear-cut chances to speak of. Still goalless.
Nottingham Forest lead by a goal to 0. We've been playing now for nearly an hour here at Kenilworth Road. Clark stands on the ball. And that is Sangari to pick it up, rolls it short. Bolly hits a right-footed ball, looking for the run of Wood. Wood in between the central defenders. Might have used his hand to control it. He then goes down inside the penalty area. Darren England had a good view of that, says no penalty, waves away any appeals from Chris Wood.
I think Nuno's will be very happy here, Ian. You know, they've negated any real reaction after half-time from Luton so far. They're getting a chance on the counter-attack. Wood again there, as you mentioned. So far, we need to see more from Luton, more intensity, more desire. So much is at stake today.
And Mpanzu is not able to continue, and he trudges off, his head bowed. It's a slow walk, and Luton's injury problems mounting as Mpanzu comes off. And Andros Townsend coming off the bench. This is the 7th time in his last 8 appearances now as a substitute. Of course, he got the assist at Selhurst Park last week. He'll look to try and make some sort of impact with the 29 minutes that remain.
And he has the quality, has the experience. Hopefully get the ball to him in the wide areas and get the ball in for Morris and Wood to attack.
Headed away for Gibbs White. Sangari, Bolly over the halfway line, looking for the run of Origi. Goes out of play though for a throw. Whilst Nottingham Forest are set to go 6 points clear of Luton Town, the feeling is that it might well be next week that they hear news of that points deduction. Who knows, come Monday, Tuesday, I might well be back level with Luton Town after all. And Forest then would have 7 days to appeal. So it's an ever-changing situation down at the bottom, and certainly far from ideal for all concerned. As there's a goal at Stoke, Lee Blakeman.
3-0 to Norwich, corner sent in, not dealt with at all by the Stoke City defence, fell for Barnes, back post, tapped it in, Norwich lead Stoke 3-0.
Ironic cheers from the Forest supporters. It was a blatant handball by Morris right in front of the referee. Kilmarnock 1, St Mirren 2 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. 61 minutes played. Back to Turf Moor in the Premier League, Mas Faruqi.
Nasty looking facial injury for Rösler, who's had to be substituted. There was some blood over the clash of heads. He's gone off, as is Onyeka for Brentford. Keane, Lewis Potter and Yarma Lewick, the 2 players to come on. Still Burnley 1, 10 man Brentford 0.
That was an incredible effort from inside his own half. Was it Murillo? And Kaminski is backpedaling, and you're thinking he's got this covered, and then all of a sudden he's thinking no, he hasn't.
It was a tremendous strike. He looked up, he saw it early. I think other players were quite shocked at what happened there, but tremendous technique, and he gets away with it. Big corner here.
He's well out, he's outside the centre circle of his own half. He's hit a left-footed free kick that was dropping quite quickly goalwards before Kaminski tipped it over. That would have been some effort. As a result, Forest get a corner kick on this near side, the right. Gibbs White to take it. This should be an outswinger in front of the Forest supporters. Leading by a goal to 0. In it comes now from Gibbs White. Wood tried to attack it. Headed away though by Mengi. Comes back out towards Gibbs White, right hand side. Delivers the ball towards the far post. And in the end it was Woodrow who just nicked it out of the path of Bolly behind for another corner.
But again, they're prepared to put the ball in the box early. They've got bodies around it, and who knows what happens from there. They're in a good position again here.
So Forest have got another corner kick. It's on the other side this time, in the corner of the Oak Road stand and the main stand on that far side, in this cramped environment of Kenilworth Road, in front of the antiquated main stand. And Forest looking to add to their first half goal. 1-0 on 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sound. 63 minutes played. Gibbs White to take the corner kick far side. He waits, it's a stuttering runner. In amongst the photographers, in it goes. Headed out of the first near post by Barkley. Played out by Elanga, back towards Gibbs White. O'Benny will turn under pressure from the Forest number 10 and will get a throw off the legs of Gibbs White. No other goals to tell you about elsewhere. BBC Radio 5 Live.
We need a reaction here, Ian. This is too timid, it's too comfortable for Forest at the moment. They're not really being threatened. It's important that the Luton give the fans something to shout about. It's far too quiet.
Here is Sangari to Williams on this near side, the right, closed down by Chong. Williams then with the cross. Wood waits, and the header behind by Rhys Burke rather, and there's been another goal at Turf Moor. Mas Faruqi.
A second for Burnley. It's had so many chances. Finally David Fofana finds the back of the net. It came when Brentford were pushing for an equaliser, but Burnley have their second. Burnley 2, Tim, and Brentford 0.
11 without a win before today, but now against the 10 men of Brentford they lead by 2-0. Nottingham Forest though are applying the pressure here, leading by 1-0. Reading 3, Cambridge 0 is the latest score in League One. Gibbs White with a corner kick over on that far side. Murillo, Bolly are up from the back. In it comes now, headed out by Barkley once more at the near post. It's repeat as it goes out towards Elanga. Gibbs White now level with the area left hand side, darts away from Chong, into the area. Gibbs White fires it right footed, just off target.
Good effort, gets into that final third. He's confident on the ball there. We know the quality he possesses, Ian, but then the team posing the threat right now is, as I said earlier, far too comfortable.
Kilmarnock 2, St Mirren 2 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Luton trying to avoid equalling a top flight club record of 4 consecutive home defeats from December 83 to February 84, so 40 years ago, which incidentally included a defeat at home to Nottingham Forest by 3-2. But waiting for that response from Luton Town. We know how they like to score goals in the last 15 minutes. In a game that they desperately can't afford to lose. They are continuing to trail by 1-0. And it's got to be said, haven't looked like scoring in this second half.
But again, they're in tremendous switch from Andros Townsend. Showed his quality. Good cross-field pass, but wasted from a good area.
The other knock-on of the various injuries that they've got is that Rob Edwards, in terms of experienced players, he's very limited to try and change things off the bench. I know he's just brought on Townsend, but in terms of attacking options, that's probably about it.
No, a team like Luton, their squad depth isn't going to be that of the bigger clubs, and the injury list is quite shocking for Rob at the moment, so he needs to see that. Likewise, Adebayo, it's a huge loss from up top to give them a variety from a striking perspective.
We're approaching the midway point of the second half. Forest still lead by 1-0. Wood forward now. Burke with a header away on the edge of the penalty area, picked up by Barkley midway through his own half. Diagonal ball along the ground, allows Townsend to latch onto it over the halfway line, passes the ball forward. Morris is out on that right hand side. That was a good challenge coming in from Toffolo. It was a quick one, and from the throw for Luton, this is Clark in the midfield, just forward of the centre circle in the Forest half. He turns away from Gibbs White, and Clark forward finds O'Benny, right corner of the area. Burke waits, out it goes towards Townsend. Townsend chops back onto his left foot with the cross. That's what he did last week at Selhurst Park for that Woodrow header, but it's been cleared by Forest, and Forest can break here. Gibbs White over the halfway line. Elanga in support away towards his left. Elanga now level with the penalty area. Origi and Wood arriving just on the edge of the box for Nottingham Forest. Played back on that left side. Toffolo in field to Sangare. Sangare now along the ground towards Williams. Williams waits. Chong closes him down to Origi. Origi plays it back, and Nottingham Forest in control and keeping the ball very well, Mark Warburton.
Yeah, they are. They're keeping it, as I say. Yates and Sangare are sitting in front of the two centre halves. They're strong and solid, hard to break down, but still posing a threat on the counter-attack, Ian. So at the moment, everything's in favour of Forest. Luton need to raise the tempo here. It's too timid, too placid at the moment.
Gibbs-White plays it back. Bolly with his experience at the central defence for Forest. Williams, the Welsh international. Just a little mistake, showed too much of the ball to Woodrow, who's nicked it away from him, but then he couldn't keep the ball in play. I mentioned Nico Williams. He's in that Wales squad for that Euro playoff semi-final that you'll hear on BBC Radio 5 Live on Thursday night. What an atmosphere that will be in Cardiff for Wales against Finland. All the build-up from 7. Netherlands-Scotland on Friday. England-Brazil live on 5 Live next Saturday, as Kilmarnock leads St Mirren by 3 goals to 2 at Rugby Park. We've got the rugby starting in just over 15 minutes time at the Aviva in Dublin. Ireland hoping to clinch the title. The commentary will start on Sports Extra, and then as soon as we're finished here, it will switch to 5 Live. And then after that, Manchester City Newcastle in the FA Cup second quarter final. Who will join Coventry in the last 4? Luton Town with Clark out to Townsend, far side, level the area. O'Benny on that right, back to Townsend once again. Can't deliver the ball just as yet. Almost doubling up on Townsend. Still it waits on that. There was a late challenge coming in. The referee's played the advantage as O'Benny was caught. Now it's with Woodrow. Tried to dink it forward. Stopped by Bolly. Only cleared as far as Townsend. Townsend tries to get the shot away onto his left foot. He does shoot this time, but it was a comfortable height for Sells. Head height, make the save.
Impressed by his impact though, Ian. He's come on, he's looked to get on the ball, he's switched it, he's come nice and tight as well, and showed his quality experience. So very impressed so far with Andros.
These are the 2 teams to have lose the most in the Premier League this season by a single goal margin. Both have lost 11 occasions by a single goal margin, and it is a 1 goal difference as Nottingham Forest have the advantage as we have just over 20 minutes remaining. Luton Town, who have scored 15 goals in the last 15 minutes of games this season, might be leaving it once again. Another late show as Chong is fouled by Yates. A free kick taken quickly by Clark, urged on by the home crowd here at Kenilworth Road. Out towards O'Benny on that right hand side. Clark makes the run ahead of him, passes the ball back out, level with the area. Townsend right hand side. Clark is still in there in support. Townsend's cross is a deep one, out of play, goes for a goal kick.
I don't mind that, Ian. You saw that they won the free kick, they played it quickly, got it out wide, ball comes in the box. Not the best of crosses from Townsend, but again there's more energy about their play.
Mentioned after the rugby, we'll have commentary of that second FA Cup quarter-final, and John Murray has the team news from the Etihad.
Yes, Manchester City without the injured De Bruyne and Ederson, the goalkeeper. Stones, Ake and Alvarez are on the bench today, so 5 changes from Anfield. Doku comes in, Kovacic into the midfield, Diaz and Gvardiol at the back, and Ortega in goal. Grealish, by the way, is fit enough to be on the substitutes bench. And Newcastle, they make 2 changes, but this is significant because Livramento has an injury. Almiron is only on the substitutes bench, so Newcastle going with 3 central defenders and Murphy and Byrne as the wing backs, so Lascelles one of the back 3.
Chris Waddle will be joining John for commentary after the rugby. It's also live on BBC One as Wycombe 1, Northampton 0 is the latest score in League One. And as we're getting the team news from John, Nottingham Forest, who still lead by a goal to 0, have been awarded a corner kick in front of their travelling support. As we look away just towards our right hand side, Gibbs-White is going to take it. Luton Town have got everybody back. This should be an outswinger from Gibbs-White. Everybody is poised with 18 minutes remaining. Gibbs-White with a delivery. It is an outswinger, and Sangari's header drops off target and out for a goal kick.
No, well again Forest now this final period of the game being, they're starting to manage, to use that term, manage it very well. They're taking their time on set pieces, throw-ons, just killing the tempo of the game, and Luton need to raise that intensity for sure, but the locals are getting frustrated.
Let's get a flavour of the atmosphere in Dublin. Chris Jones.
The band out, the Aviva filling up, under 15 minutes to go. Ireland know a win or a draw, and the Six Nations title is there for a second successive year. They've had to make a late change. Star full-back Hugo Keenan ruled out, but will it knock Ireland off their stride?
Clark with a cross from the right-hand side, headed away by Williams for Nottingham Forest. Bouncing ball dealt with by Gibbs-White. We'll be there with Chris and the team as soon as we're done here at Kenilworth Road, as Burke picks it up now on the halfway line. And almost every outfield player is in the Forest half, away towards our left-hand side. Townsend's ball in field will be just dealt with by Yates, who prods it forward but doesn't get there to find Chris Wood. A goal at Celtic, Gavin Wallace.
It is indeed Ian James. Forrest just off the bench for Celtic makes it Celtic 3, St Johnstone 0. O'Reilly found him on the edge of the box and with the left foot put Dimitar Mitov the wrong way. Celtic 3, St Johnstone 0.
And another scoreline in Scotland is Kilmarnock 4, St Mirren 2 at Rugby Park in the Scottish Premiership. Forest still lead by a goal to 0. Referee Darren England facing the fury of the Luton Town supporters by giving a free kick to the away side for a foul on Origi just inside his own half. But let's get the teamies from Fulham Tottenham with Conor McNamara.
Tottenham, who can move into the top 4 ahead of Villa, who don't play until tomorrow, make one change from last weekend. Dragusha comes in for the injured Van de Ven in defence. There are 2 changes for Fulham from their defeat at Wolves. João Palhinha replaces Reid in the midfield and Willian preferred to Wilson.
Commentary of that one with Connor and Matt Jarvis on Sports Extra. That 5:30 kickoff at Craven Cottage. Callum Hudson-Odoi is going to be coming on, and there's going to be a double change. Felipe is also going to be coming on. Another goal at Valley Parade in League 2. Shojo Saka.
Bradford have got one. It's Bradford 1, Mansfield 4. Cross from Harry Chapman from the right with Andy Cook toe poking home. It's his 17th goal of the season across all competitions. Bradford 1, Mansfield 4.
Lengthy stoppage here at Kenilworth Road, where Forest still lead by a goal to 0, but Burnley have the beauty of a cushion, Masfaruqi.
Almost a third as well, Ian. The game's really opened up now. Odebear in the area needed a really well-timed challenge from Janelt to get the ball away. 73 minutes played here now at Turf Moor. Still Burnley 2, 10-man Brentford 0.
Don't think Chris Wood is able to continue. So Hudson-Odoi and Felipe coming on whilst the changes take place here. We'll get an update from Portman Road. Aaron Paul.
Ipswich hunting for a 5th, Ian, and Massimo Luongo has gone close from the halfway line. Long range effort, and James Beadle just scurried back towards his crossbar and was able to palm it over. It's still Ipswich 4, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
So Hudson-Odoi has replaced Chris Wood and Felipe has replaced Origi. So Felipe will just shore up the defence now for these closing 15 minutes. This is where Luton tend to profit with a number of their goals, but Nottingham Forest are aware of that. As you said, all about game management now.
It really is. Everything is taking time. It's slowing it down. It's very hard for Luton here to get any momentum, any sort of tempo at all to their play.
So that Wood goal is still the difference. Ross County 2, Hearts 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. I'll rattle through all the various divisions for you very, very soon, but we have under 15 minutes remaining. Burnley lead the 10 men of Brentford by 2 goals to 0. Coventry have secured a place in the FA Cup semi-finals. Manchester City, Newcastle to come. The rugby is on its way from Dublin. Ireland looking to clinch the title. The referee has not given that decision in the favour of Luton Town as Hudson-Odoi goes on an amazing little run, links the ball up with Gibbs-White, Yates, tidy in the midfield, Williams back towards Yates once again, running forward, now on this right-hand side, Williams. There's an element of control that Forest have had in this game. As I say that, they've just given it away. Sangare tried to stop the run of Barkley. He feeds it forward now, and Morris finds himself one-on-one with Bolly. Morris to the edge of the area. Bolly tries to hold him up, and then actually manages to dispossess him. He did well, Bolly.
He did very well there. Great defending, but as you rightly said, Ian, they had good control of the football, good possession, and it was given away loosely, but they made up for the mistake, and again, they're now in Luton's final third here and are controlling the game.
Here is Ilanga. Ilanga might open up for Ilanga. His shot takes a deflection. It's going to run behind for a corner kick. On the balance of play, if anybody's likely to score, you'd have to say Forest.
No, absolutely. They've had a much better second half. I expected a far bigger reaction from Luton, far more intensity to their play, but they've really struggled to get the game moving, get the ball moving. So at the moment, Forest look far more dangerous.
That goal, incidentally, for Hearts didn't stand, so Ross County still lead Hearts by 2 goals to 0. The Premier League live on BBC Radio 5 Live. 13 minutes remaining. We're also on the World Service and BBC Sounds. And Nottingham Forest. What a boost this would be for Nottingham Forest, considering just 1 win in 8 in the Premier League in 2024. If they could pick up 3 points against one of their relegation rivals. Gibbs-White waits to take the corner kick. Right-hand side. right-footed. It's delivered deep, but well held by Kaminsky, all in green. And in fact, the referee says that the ball had actually arced its way out of play, and it will be a goal kick. The time is ticking away. And for Luton Town, Mengi is the one who advances. They don't really have a focal point now, do they, Forest, without Chris Wood? But they've got an abundance of pace now.
No, they have. They've got the threat and the counter-attack in, but they're sitting in, make it very hard for Luton to break them down. Luton have got to be braver here now. 12 minutes of open play, maybe whatever, 5, 6, 7 minutes of added time. They've got to be brave in the decision-making. At the moment, it's all far too comfortable.
Murillo with a throw for Nottingham Forest. Burke cuts it out. O'Benny will get a throw over on that far side. Latest scores in the Scottish Premiership: Celtic 3, St Johnstone 0. They'll be a point clear of Rangers, but Rangers will have a game in hand. Hibs 3, Livingston 0. Kilmarnock 4, St Mirren 2. Motherwell 0, Aberdeen 1. Ross County 2, Hearts 0 are the latest scores. I'll rattle through the other various divisions in a short while. Here is Kabore playing on the left side for Luton. Infield now to Mengi. He goes out towards Townsend in front of the main stand on that far side, the right. O'Benny now tries to get past Murillo. And that's not easier said than done, because he's such a well-built chap, the defender. He's been a brilliant signing for Nottingham Forest as Murillo. He's been consistent and very effective.
They're playing well here, Ian. They're getting bodies behind the ball. There's no real space for Luton to play into. They're attacking it, and they're going to be this constant threat here on the counter.
Kilmarnock 5, St Mirren 2. There's been a goal in League One at Derby, Charlie Slater.
And a huge goal as Pride Park rises. Derby in front, off the bench, Kane Wilson. A glancing header from a corner kick. Derby 1, Bolton 0.
Forest are looking to make another change, and it's going to be Dominguez who's going to be coming on, the Argentine midfielder. I'll give you the latest scores in League 2 now. Wimbledon 0, Newport County 2, Accrington 1, Notts County 2. That could be Notts County, who've lost their last 5, returning to winning ways. Been a while. Barrow 0, Harrogate 0, Bradford City 1, the leaders Mansfield 4, Colchester 1, Walsall 1, Forest Green 0, Sutton 1, Gillingham 1, Grimsby 1. MK Dons lead Crewe by 3-1, Swindon 1, Doncaster 2, and Wrexham still trailing at home to Tranmere by 1-0. We've just heard of that goal at Derby. There's now been a goal at London Road. Alan Ellard.
Portsmouth lead here, the league leaders lead. Kostuni Yengi with his 3rd goal of the week. A counter-attack for Pompey, and Yengi picked the right side of Jedstead. Peterborough United 0, Portsmouth 1.
I was told they were taking somewhere in the region of 4,000 travelling supporters up to Peterborough today for John Mousinho's side, looking to extend their unbeaten run to 12 games. Latest scores elsewhere in League 1: Barnsley 0, Cheltenham 0, Derby leading Bolton by 1-0 as we've heard. Exeter down to 10 men, still lead Burton 1-0, Fleetwood 0, Charlton 1, Lincoln 4, Bristol Rovers 0, Lincoln going unbeaten in 13, Peterborough 0, Portsmouth 1, Port Vale 0, Oxford United 2, Reading 3, Cambridge 0, Shrewsbury 1, Carlisle 0, Stevenage 0, Leyton Orient 1, Wigan 1, Blackpool 0, and Wycombe 1, Northampton Town 0. I'll give you the championship scores after we've watched a free kick for Forest, who, with 8 minutes remaining, are looking good for 3 points, Mark.
I think this is tough watching here for Rob and his staff, and for the supporters as well. They're controlling the game, they're slowing the pace, there's no intensity for Luton, and they're winning cheap free kicks here as well. So at the moment, everything is going Forest's way.
Gibbs White is the player who's going to be coming off for Nicolas Dominguez, and Danilo is also getting stripped for action. Now, whether he comes on now or whether they're just going to wait, again, it would be a substitution just to disrupt any flow, but Luton just can't get going in this second half, and Forest are on course for what would be not only a much needed 3 points, but a deserved 3 points too. Hudson-Odoi waits to take the free kick on this near side, the right, level with the penalty area. Hudson-Odoi crosses, Townsend with the clearance for Luton Town. Ilanga tidies the ball back towards Toffolo inside the centre circle, out towards Dominguez. Ball then played back to Toffolo. Murillo infield, Domingo shuffles the ball forward, Yates Now rolled inside by Dominguez to Hudson-Odoi. It's a sweeping, patient move by Forrest. Ilanga right-hand side. Ilanga back towards Williams. Ball in field. Sangari gets there just ahead of Barkley, passes it with pace to Williams, inside towards Ilanga. Kabori has to be alert, almost presented it back towards Sangari. Williams wins it back, goes to ground far too easily, goal kick. But they've got the quality, haven't they, Forrest?
They have, a good passage of play. They're one of the best in the game. They controlled it, and everything is going their way at the moment, Ian.
Let's go back to Turf Moor, Masfarouki.
Some tired Brentford bodies out there now, and a triple change from Thomas Frank, and some minutes here for the first time since December for Brian Mbomo after that ankle injury. 82 minutes played now, though. It's still Burnley 2, Brentford 0.
We are in the 84th minute, and Forest still lead by a goal to nil. The rugby will be getting underway in a couple of minutes' time. That's on Sports Extra to begin with. Ireland against Scotland, and then it'll be here on 5 Live in, I would say, about 7 or 8 minutes' time, depending, of course, on how much added on time there will be. As Luton Town were awarded a free kick, ironic cheers from the home support. Toffolo is shown a yellow card by referee Darren England. They've got to get from a set piece. They've looked unlikely to score in open play.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is a chance for them here in the final 5 minutes, or approaching the final 5 minutes of the game. They need good delivery from Barkley, coming in, attack the ball. They've got the threat. Important now they make something from this.
The reaction from Turf Moor and also from Kenilworth Road will be on the 5 Live Football Daily pod, because it's live sport all the way here on 5 Live. Luke Berry is going to be coming on. He's replacing Jordan Clark in the midfield. So that's a substitution that Rob Edwards is making in the late stages of this game. His 9th substitute appearance of the season in the Premier League for Berry to come on, and he goes right into the heart of it with this free kick to come from Barkley. Looking, with time running out, desperately for an equaliser. Barkley on the right-hand side, delivers it now, punched away by Kaminski, only as far as O'Benny. O'Benny looks to get the shot away through the crowd of players. They appeal for handball. Referee had a good view of that, waves it away. Morris wins a corner. Goal at Ipswich, Aaron Paul.
Ipswich have a 5th. Ali Al-Hamidi has it. Jeremy Sarmiento's shot beaten out by Beadle, but there was the Iraq international to make it. Ipswich 5, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
A reminder, they've scored 15 goals in the last 15 minutes this season. We saw them score very, very late at Selhurst Park last weekend. Can they conjure up something now in the closing stages? Barkley with the corner, headed out well by Yates under pressure, only as far as O'Benny, crowded out by 3 Forest players. Back out towards Barkley, level the area on the left-hand side. O'Benny is available on the overlap if required. Barkley, though, hangs on to the ball, still can't deliver the ball because of Hudson-Odoi. Now he sends over the cross. Morris with the header. Berry was almost there, cleared away. There'll be a clash of heads there. Referee's got to stop play. Because of Ryan Yates, has gone a clash of heads, and there's been a goal at Turf Moor. Masfarouki.
Muric on his Premier League debut can't keep a clean sheet for Burnley. Christopher Ayer has got one back late on for Brentford. It was a header from a corner. Burnley couldn't clear their area. Burnley 2, Brentford 1.
Wycombe 2, Northampton 0, Lincoln 5, Bristol Rovers 0, Accrington 2, Notts County 2, Celtic 3, St Johnstone 1. So St Johnstone have got a consolation at Celtic Park. As promised is the treatment for that clash of heads. I can give you the Championship latest scores. The full-time result in the South Wales derby at the Liberty Stadium. Swansea beat Cardiff 2-0. Latest scores: Birmingham 0, Watford 1, Ipswich 5, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Middlesbrough 0, Blackburn 0. John Eustace still looking for his first win as Blackburn manager. Plymouth 0, Preston 1, Rotherham 0, Huddersfield 0. Huddersfield down to 10 men. Stoke 0, Norwich 3, Sunderland 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0. West Brom lead Bristol City by 2 goals to 0.
Game being controlled here again. Everything is being slowed down by Forest. They're managing the game well, Ian, and they had a little passage of play in Luton's favour there, but once again the tempo's been taken out.
Full time in the Rugby League now, Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Huddersfield 12, Hull KR 24. 2 late tries from the home side have given the scoreline a more flattering look, but in truth they were well beaten. 5 tries to 2. The pressure is on Ian Watson and Huddersfield. They've lost again. It's Huddersfield 12, Hull KR 24.
Forest have only kept 1 clean sheet in the last 17 Premier League games. It would be a precious clean sheet to add to a precious 3 points. Williams cuts the ball back to Mingus with a shot blocked by Burke, comes back towards the penalty area, but the flag was up on this near side. They're underway in Dublin. Ireland against Scotland. Their quest for the title is underway. It's on Sports Extra now. We'll be here on BBC Radio 5 Live very, very soon. We've got 2.5 minutes of normal time remaining. There's been another goal at Valley Parade in League 2. Shojo Saka.
Bradford 1, Mansfield 5. Aaron Lewis this time. His first volley saved by Sam Walker. He made no mistake from the rebound. Bradford 1, Mansfield 5.
Reading 4, Cambridge 0 is the latest score in League 1. And Luton Town have 2 minutes remaining. If that points deduction does arrive next week, this win will be a much-needed tonic.
Oh, it's a huge afternoon for Forest, there's no doubt about that, Ian. Interested to see what added time we get here now, see if Luton get a couple more chances, but keep saying at the moment it's far too easy for Forest to control it, looking far more dangerous. But as you say, midweek is a huge time in this division.
They would go 6 points clear of Luton Town, but we're under 2 minutes remaining. Fleetwood have equalised at home to Charlton, 1-1 in League 1. Here is Burke. Burnley 2, Brentford 1 elsewhere in the Premier League. Luton Town trailing by a goal to nil, running forward on the right hand side. Townsend, cross comes in, charged down, goes behind for a corner kick to Luton at the Kenilworth Road end of the ground.
Again, keep within, need good quality ball come in the box here. They've got the players to attack it, they've got to make sure they do it. Time's running out.
Come on Luton is the chant from the home support. Barkley races over to the right hand side. This should be an outswinger. Forest have got every white shirt back. In it comes from Barkley. It's a high one. Burke with a header. Oh, and it's got it! Luke Berry wheels away, and Luton Town have done it again. They are incredible at getting late goals. What a moment for Luton Town, and Forest just couldn't hang on, and they've hardly looked like scoring. And from the corner kick, Luton Town have salvaged yet another point with another late show at Kenilworth Road.
And there'll be more chances coming in.
Luke Berry with his first goal in the Premier League from the knockdown header. He just swiveled, hit it first time, got there before the goalkeeper. In a game that they haven't looked like scoring, they just do not give up.
No, they don't, but again, the vulnerability at set pieces for Forest, worst in the league, and again, it's come back to haunt them late in the game, but the added time now will be so critically important.
Sells has been shown a yellow card for his protest. 7 minutes of added on time, which we're now into. Listen to the roar inside Kenilworth Road. All of a sudden, they have 7 minutes of hope when it looked like Forest were managing the game just how they needed to. It came out of nothing in many ways.
Absolutely, but now you hear the crowd, now you hear the impact they can have on this last remaining few minutes, and it's important now, get the ball forward with some quality. Here we are now.
Goes away downfield, Felipe. They're looking for a Luton throw on this near side. It didn't go out of play. They play it out towards that far side. Everybody's up and out of their seats on that main stand. That was a late flag. No, the referee's let play continue. And now Mengi will hit the ball high downfield towards that far side. Kabore, Luton all of a sudden looking to try and get a late winner. They've got a corner kick.
This is what we expected after half-time. It's come very late, but hopefully they have the impact here.
Luke Berry in the 89th minute with the equaliser. Luton 1, Nottingham Forest 1. The deafening cry of "Come on Luton" from all quarters of Kenilworth Road, with the exception of the Forest fans towards our right. Now, another corner kick. This is where the goal came from. Barkley far side the right. Barkley, in it comes now. Hasn't been dealt with. Flick header away actually. Collected by Obeni. Left corner of the area. Obeni waits onto his left foot. Blocked by Elanga. Chong is also there. He can't deliver the cross. In towards the near post. Morris is there. Goal kick. Goes behind for a goal kick. I just wonder if we're able to drop in to the Sports Extra commentary maybe to see the early stages of Ireland-Scotland to Christian.
Well, good start here, Ian. Ireland 0, Scotland 0, 6 minutes gone, but we said, could Scotland start well? Could they sustain it? They have started well, they've hassled, they've harried, they have Ireland in a spot of bother, but still pointless. 6 minutes gone, Ireland 0, Scotland 0.
We'll be with you, Chris, in about 4.5 minutes' time. Commentary, if that continues, on Sports Extra. This is 5 Live on the World Service. 1-1, Burnley 2, Brentford 1 is the latest score elsewhere in the Premier League. As now Forrester coming forward, Dominguez right side of the area. Dominguez waits. Hudson-Odoi makes the run forward, right side of the box, down towards the byline, passes the ball back. Yates keeps the ball in play. Luton look to try and clear it. Handball by Williams. That'll be a free kick to the home side. Ross County 2, Hearts 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Could there be yet a twist to the tail, do you think?
There would be the frustration of Forrest and the fans here. It must be the way they've been the better team second half. They've controlled and dominated most of the possession, and now they find themselves with a very hairy last 3 or 4 minutes here.
And for Luton Town, they've extended their club record of scoring in 17 consecutive games in the top flight. 1-1. They would still 3 points the difference, but with that points deduction to come, that could all change next week. As the free kick was taken by Kaminsky, but the referee, Darren England, now stops play and is having a word with Felipe. I think Felipe and Morris have been getting a little bit too tight, and there's an accusing finger being pointed by Felipe in the direction of Carlton Morris. It's finished Sunderland 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0 in the Championship. We have 3 minutes remaining. A goal at Portman Road, Aaron Paul.
Ipswich 6, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Great work by Omari Hutchinson, unselfishly squaring the ball to Ali Al-Hamidi, open in front of the goal just to tap home to make it Ipswich 6, Wednesday 0.
Foul by Woodrow on Yates gives a free kick to Nottingham Forest. Referee Darren England isn't happy that the ball isn't taken from the right place. Let's get an update from Turf Moor, Mas Faruqi.
We are into 9 minutes of stoppage time here at the end of this match, so still so much time for Brentford perhaps to find an equaliser on the counter now. Lyle Foster come on for some late minutes as well for Burnley. Still Burnley 2, Brentford 1.
Scotland have taken an early lead in Dublin. They're leading Ireland by 3 points to 0 in the early stages of the Six Nations. Commentary continues on Sports Extra. It'll be live here on 5 Live in about 3 minutes' time. Middlesbrough 0, Blackburn 0. So Blackburn still without a win under John Eustace. He's drawn 7 and lost 2 of those 9 games. As the full-time scores come in, the BBC Sport website, of course, will keep you in touch. As here in the closing stages, we have just over 2 minutes remaining. Kaminsky with the clearance up towards Woodrow, headed away then by Yates. Ball played forward towards Bolly. He clatters the ball away downfield. Townsend gets it away from the challenge of Toffolo. Townsend's done well in the centre circle of his own half, but then he runs into Barkley, and Dominguez profits from that as Forest now have the ball, and Ilanga looks for Hudson-Odoi, cut out by Burke. Played back to Hudson-Odoi. Forest attacking. Hudson-Odoi shot takes the deflection. Behind for a corner kick to Forest. Full time at Valley Parade. Shojo Saka.
Bradford 1, Mansfield 5. A brilliant first half attacking display from Mansfield. Simply blew Bradford away. You can't see them not getting automatic promotion on this great form. Bradford 1, Mansfield 5.
By my watch, we have about 80 seconds remaining. And it's Hudson-Odoi to take the corner kick. 1-1 here at Kenilworth Road in this crunch game down at the bottom of the Premier League. And Forest playing from left to right have the corner kick. Hudson-Odoi to take it. In it comes, headed out by Mengi. Chong can't get there. Williams will, and Forest go back. Mark Warburton.
No, Forest have reacted well there. As I say, we're looking forward to a big last 5 minutes, but they've actually taken the pace out of the game, had a couple of chances. Depends how they see this game.
Goes long, and then the drop-down header. It was a flash effort from Yates. That was just something out of nothing, and he hit it on the full left-footed around knee height. Whistled off target.
Well, they won the first contact, and a great reaction from Ryan. Good technique they demonstrated there, and he's actually had a very good second half, winning some key second balls and playing forward for Forest.
I've just been told where to go, and my mind has just gone completely blank. Full time at West Brom. Pat Murphy.
2-0 West Brom. Fellows and Wallace the scorers. Fairly routine apart from some fine saves by Palmer, particularly to block Bristol's Conway when it was 0-0. West Brom 2, Bristol City 0.
Thank you, Pat. It's finished at Rotherham 0, Huddersfield 0 for two teams threatened by relegation in the Championship. Lincoln are now unbeaten in 13. They've beaten Bristol Rovers by 5 goals to 0. Motherwell 0, Aberdeen 1. Wycombe 2, Northampton 0 are other full-time scores that are flashing by as Luton Town inside the last 60 seconds chase after a ball, and they get a throw on the right-hand side. And Andros Townsend waits to take it, and then he hands it towards Kabore. Well, they got a last-gasp equaliser at Selhurst Park a week ago. Now they're looking for a last-gasp winner. It's 1-1 here at Kenilworth Road. Kabore level with the penalty area on the right-hand side. Not a great deal of movement. It's Berry who makes himself available. And then it goes all the way back to Barkley. Barkley tries to roll away from Hudson-Odoi, drops to his knees. Free kick for Luton.
This is what they want, the last chance, the last free kick. Quality ball in the box once again, Ian.
The crowd are on their feet, because by my watch the 7 minutes of added on time are certainly over now. This has got to be it for Luton Town. It's 1-1. Barkley is poised. Barkley, right-footed, it's a high one, dropping inside the penalty area. Morris with his head onto that, and Sells is challenged by Rhys Burke, and the referee blows his whistle. And it is finished. Luton Town 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Very quickly, Mark, your thoughts.
I think Forest frustration's really in. They've dominated the second half. They've lost 2 vital points there. Luton will look at it and say they should have done more in the game, but I suppose honour's shared.
It's a case of as you were down at the bottom of the table, but a points deduction is likely for Nottingham Forest. Might be on appeal next week. Watch this space, as they say. But full time at Kenilworth Road. Luton Town 1, Nottingham Forest 1. But it's all about the live sport. So we now go to Dublin.